You are listening live to the program. Your teams, your town, your program.
Brings up Caglione.
Oh!
Caglione towers one deep right field.
There it is.
1-0 Royals.
Oh, yeah.
Off the end of the bat, toward the left field corner. Isaac Collins puts on the cape.
1-1 pitch. Merrill swings, hits it in the air to left center field. Thomas backing up, still going back.
Ooh.
He's at the wall. This one gonna go. Jackson Merrill, an opposite field shot. His third hit of the day. And the Padres get the run back. It's 7-2.
Get out.
At the wall, it is gone. Grand slam. Ty France with his 13th home run of the year. 13-2 San Diego.
Because Tyler Tolbert started today's game at shortstop, but he's now pitching for the 5th time.
The day a planet stops for a game. Aimed in towards Olmo, and now Yamal! And thundered into Spain by Ferran Torres! At last! At long last! Spain's magic moment! Spain are the champions! Spain have seized their second star! The kings of Europe have conquered the world!
And now, the man who can name every single performer in yesterday's halftime show, Soren Petro.
Kyle, right you are. Petro in the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you for joining us here on a hot and sticky Monday. Power through today. Don't we have like 83 or something? 80 coming up later in the week. So today's the scorcher. I think it cools off a little bit tomorrow. Let me look at this. But if you're outside working, be careful. Make sure you got plenty of water. Hydrate. Take some frequent breaks because it is a hot one. 99 degrees. Feels like 114 right now. Tomorrow, another hot one, 95. But then 84 on Wednesday. Have you seen Thursday, Kyle? 77.
77, all right.
And 77 on Friday. Rain both those days.
That's all right. I mean,
bringing it down to 77. Then for the weekend, 88, 91 for next weekend. So you get back out to the pool weather, heat it back up. But during the week, when you can't go to the pool probably anyway, we're going to cool things off to 77. So get through the next couple of days and you get a little bit of a breather, a little bit of a break. The big man, Curtis Seabolt, on vacation this week. So he's probably rolling out of bed about now. Be my guess.
At 2 p.m.?
Yeah. I want to wager?
Yeah, I could, because I think I'd win that bet based on today.
Well, just because you woke him up.
Oh,
because the guy locks his computer. We needed to do that open, and you couldn't get to it, so you had to pester him after he was, talking all this smack about how I always forget and call him for the topics call.
Yeah.
Didn't call him. It's Kyle that's, banging on his door, needing something.
It was.
Yeah, so back off, people. Back off. We're going to talk. We got a lot of people on vacation, a lot of things moving around this week. So, strap yourself in. Lineup today, we're going to talk to Matt Derrick. Chiefs camp opens on Friday with the quarterbacks and the rookies. We'll talk to Matt Derrick one more time before it'll officially be training camp season. The Chiefs season off and running this Friday. So we get one more conversation with Matt Derrick looking ahead. Then we'll start talking about what's happening in St. Joe. Blair Kirchhoff's going to be with us in the 3 o'clock because he's got vacation coming up later this week, so we wouldn't be able to talk to him. A week without Blair is not a week that I want to live with. If it's possible, we're going to talk to Blair Kirchhoff. We'll do it today. SEC Media Days, a big part of the topic. Mizzou, Eli Drinkwitz at the podium. We'll talk to him about that. The SEC breaking away. Going to do their own thing. Making some threats. Okay. Who are you going to play in the non-con? Like that's the thing is there'll probably be a bunch of ADs are like, well, you're going to give us $500,000. We'll go ahead and play him. But if everybody be like, if you ain't going to be in our league, if you ain't going to be a part of our tournament, then we ain't going to play you. Is what I'd like to see happen. And you can get that $500,000. You get a $400,000 payday from Kansas as opposed to a $500,000 payday from Alabama. It shows some self-worth, small schools. Anyway, we'll talk about that with Blair Kirchhoff coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. 2-minute drill at 4 around the country, talking to the people, covering the stories where they're happening. I'd give you the exotic locales, but still a work in progress.
Just got my third one confirmed.
Ooh, okay. So we'll visit exotic
we can
locales.
Announce the first three.
Okay. Seattle, Atlanta, and
New Orleans.
In New Orleans. Okay. New Orleans. We are good to go with at least those 3 destinations. By the way, you hear that? That is not an easy task. Occasionally, one of the guys will be on tape. We'll have to tape them beforehand. We just kind of slide it into one of the slots. But usually, rolling through 3 to 5 live guests all in one period is not easy, people.
It's often hell.
Why are they going?
Drake standing behind me, he just went, mm-hmm.
Yeah, Drake hates it. When he hates filling in on a Monday or Friday and just having to run it, let alone book it. So, yeah, it's a labor of love, to say the very least. But it's a good segment, so we keep doing it. And, all the work's on Kyle. So I love it. It's great. Good times. Jeff Passan will be with us in the 5 o'clock hour talking some Royals baseball. World Cup is over. We have a champion. Spain wins 120 minutes later. They get the 1-0 victory over Argentina. You saw on Messi just, when they were going through all good Lord, how long are they going to keep them out on the field? The post-show or post-game festivities with all the players went on and on and on for hours. I get it. It's the biggest thing you can win. And in team sports, in a one-sport team sport, not like a whole Olympic team, but in a one sport, it's the biggest trophy you can win, the most coveted prize out there. I do get it, but my Lord, that goes on for a long time afterwards. Messi's still out there well after the game and in tears. You see why the guy is as good as he is when you see the way it affected him, the way he was moved so emotionally when they lost. The best team won. Who picked Spain before this thing started? I forgot.
May have been Todd.
No, Todd picked England.
I was on France.
Todd picked England.
Curtis
picked France.
was on France.
Curtis was on France. Who was it?
Was it Pete?
No. Well, Pete was one of them. There was somebody else. Who was it?
It was you, wasn't it?
Yes. I'm trolling for a compliment here, for God's sake. Yes, I picked Spain when this whole thing started. Through no means of soccer analysis, just like, that's a good team. They really move the ball well. And I like their unis. I'm going Spain.
Darcy just said their uniforms are pretty.
Yeah.
You went out and said that. No, I picked France because Thunderdome told me to.
France was the right team. France was the best team. There's no doubt about it. Like, if you picked France, like, you weren't wrong. They looked like an absolute beast. And then they ran into, France lost to Argentina, beat England, and yes, Spain beat France.
Right.
They ran into a Spanish team. 1 goal. They have 1 goal the whole tournament. Like, how irritated are you now about giving up that 1 goal? Like, if you give up 2, okay, we were never there, but you were 1 goal away from a clean tournament of giving up nothing. And when you watch that game against Argentina, who has great players, and they just could not get the ball, and when they got it, they couldn't keep it. Spain's ability to seize the ball right back was amazing. And
Spain took like the first 20 shots of the game.
Argentina did not have a shot. Forget about a shot on goal. They did not have a shot until extra time.
Yeah.
Of the obviously the second half is after the second half, but they were in extra time. I think they were almost done with the first half of extra time, I think, when they got their first shot. And it was a shot on goal, but Spain was clearly the better team.
Yes.
Clearly the better team. And then one of the, dumbest, not because of the second yellow, it was a challenge, but I understand the guy's going for the ball. I mean, he's late. It's an obvious yellow. I think it could have been a straight red card for that, but it didn't matter. They could just show the yellow because he already had a yellow on him for pushing a player right freaking in front of the ref. Twice.
Yeah.
And was going to get away with it once. And he's like, all right, now I've got to give you the card. And he ends up getting the red card, and they play down a man. They had no chance whatsoever. Had they won that with 10, obviously the plan was to survive all the way through the extra time and try to win in PKs, which according to the announcers and that, Spain's not very good at PKs. So Argentina would have actually been the favorite. So think about how Spain had lost their last 3 games that had gone to PKs in World Cup play. And so if you're Spain and the clock is ticking, you're like, we have dominated this match and we're going to go in and be outgunned and lose this thing on penalty kicks. I mean, that had to be some of the most nerve-wracking moments for the Spanish team. And they played through it, finally got an excellent chance, buried it, and the World Cup is over, and I'm sad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if you're an Argentinian fan, I mean, you knew that team had one fatal flaw, so you were somewhat liking how that game was playing out. I mean, nobody's ever said, let's let the other team take the first 20 shots of the game.
Right.
But, I mean, yeah, you were looking good, and then finally it broke at the end. I mean, the Argentinian goalkeeper was having a day.
Was tremendous. Tremendous. I will say this, a lot of the shots on goal were right at him. Yeah, there was a couple of diving stops. There was the one off the set piece, off the free kick, where he got to the upper, if you're shooting at it, the upper right corner, and knocked it away with a wall with it hidden where he couldn't see the ball coming off. I mean, that was just an amazing reaction to it. I guess, stepping on a guy's foot is a foul. Like, it could have been Spain 2-0 if they don't stop that as a foul call, because Spain put it in, but they take that goal off the board because there was a foul on Spain for stepping on a guy's foot. I mean, if we're going to rescind red cards for stepping on a guy's Achilles tendon,
right,
like they did for the Americans, I don't know how stepping on a guy's foot could possibly be a foul. But everybody's, well, yep, there it is. It's obvious. I'm like, okay. I don't want people running around stomping on each other's feet with cleats. I mean, it'll do some damage, no doubt. But I was like, really? Okay.
Yeah, no, I've heard some chatter about, FIFA being a little fast and loose with the rules.
Oh, you think so?
And I didn't really believe it. I'm no huge soccer watcher at all, but I mean, this tournament, I understand it now.
Well, and there's people who say that's part of what makes it so great, the controversy. You have the conversations. Like, there's going to be controversy no matter what. There are tough calls to be made that people are not going to like in every tournament. You don't have to be on the take.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the sport itself should be driving the drama and the tension.
Yeah.
Not the, what are they going to rule this one?
So will you be watching the World Cup 4 years from now?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you watch it 4 years ago?
No.
So this is...
I wasn't working in sports radio.
So this is great. I mean, this is why you move the World Cup around and you put it in the backyards of big population bases, because there are now people that are more of a soccer fan. I'm not going to say you're not going to necessarily have a team in every league and, be watching the Bundesliga, opening day or anything like that. But, you've become more of a soccer fan. You now have been shown the culture. And what for me, I think what this does for people out there who like competition. Like you've heard my spiel about the guy who's, I hate soccer.
Yeah,
and I want to tell you all the time how much I hate soccer. I don't have any time for those people. But I would offer up, do you like competition or not? Like, this is an incredibly athletic sport with an incredible skill set, and it was being played at one of the higher levels. I mean, I think Nate's right. Nate said it that, the Premier League is better soccer because it's the best of all these guys are all thrown into, 20 teams, guys from all over the world aspire. And then really you could add that, and then there's probably another 6 or 10 teams around the world that also play at the level of an EPL, of the top EPL teams, the Real Madrids and the Bayern Munich's and PSG and so on and so forth. But I don't know how you could come across that and not be like, okay. I mean, what else were you going to watch?
Right.
I mean,
there was no MLS on. I mean, you could watch, if you're in Kansas City, a mediocre to bad baseball team.
Yeah. I mean,
no football, obviously.
I'm a guy that at night, like when I'm doing something and I just want kind of background, I will watch The World's Strongest Man. Right. I am intrigued by it. I got to get pretty far down there, but I will even watch the timber sports. You want to saw a log really fast? Ah, okay. I'm kind of intrigued. Look at the size of that saw. Holy cow. It would have taken me 5 minutes to do that. That guy just did it in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Shinning up a log. I'll watch that.
I've thrown on the cornhole championship.
The hell
before.
yes.
Oh,
those are fantastic. Oh my God. How's he going to get it in there? What are we, I any kind of competition, I will watch it. And then you put the best in the world with national pride on the line as well, in packed stadiums with beautiful fields. I don't know how you didn't at least take in some of it. I mean, I don't know how you weren't caught up in at least the People were coming from Argentina time and time and time again to this country to watch that team play. If you're not just like, oh my God, and the singing the song and everything, it was a memorable competition. I also had in the lower corner Tyler Tolbert lobbing, cookies.
Some softball pitches.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but the World Cup was better, okay? And that's no shame to the Royals. They're not having a good season. If they were in the midst of a great season, okay, maybe I would have been like, oh, the Royals are just as good, but I don't think so. But I kept an eye on the Royals, but the World Cup was amazing. And so, I think it will boost soccer in this country. Does it make it the number one sport in the country? No. But does it continue to add to it? Yes. Will it ever be number one in this country? I don't think so. I think it'll be tough for football to be topped. If it does, it'll be 100 years from now where people are routinely born in Austria and now live in Las Vegas. People are born in Argentina and now live in New York. I mean, that's what it'll take. The cross-pollination of where the global economy becomes that, moving to another country is akin to moving to Chicago from Kansas City. Then maybe it will. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't have to be. That's not the end game, is to be the number one sport, but it will continue to grow in popularity. And I think it's going to be really interesting to watch the next couple of years, because I agree with what Nate said. How does the MLS try to capture what was a bunch of eyeballs watching the sport? How can they help grow the game in this country? And I think in this town, and I think it's important. It's why Nate said Sporting Kansas City, with Peter Maluk taking over as the principal owner, and we talked with Cliff Illig, the former principal owner of Sporting Kansas City, talking about the capital that's being invested, and they're rumored to be talking to players in the well over $10 million range, maybe as much as $20 million. We're talking about a premier talent that they are looking at adding to this club in the very near future. That'll go a long way towards capitalizing on, what's going on. Get this, and the team has played better. They've got a match on Wednesday, but a heartbreaking handball takes away a 2-2 draw in the first one back. They've played better soccer here over the last 4 or 5 matches, going back to before the break. So I think it'll be interesting to see how does the MLS and how does soccer in general capitalize on what the World Cup brought. Yeah, and like you said, I mean, it just the World Cup being here has already, put people on their radar. Yeah, I was a non-follower for the last World Cup. After this one, I am, and I know we're supposed to hear this week from Pochettino if he's going to be about his future with the U.S. men's national team. As the head coach. Yeah, I'm going to be following that. Yeah, so they got me. Yeah, I mean, I think that happened, and another World Cup. We'll get a few more. Another World Cup in the U.S. I think USA Soccer should be doing everything they can to get the World Cup back here as fast as they can, probably about 16 years. But they really need it to not be 30-plus years, because I think there's no doubt soccer had grown in this country, and then it just got an absolute adrenaline shot by having it on our time schedule, in our stadiums, places that we knew. I think it was giant. And I think that's what they need to focus on. That'll be the next best thing they can do. And I think the Women's World Cup, get those tournaments in this country as often as you possibly can. It should be one of the premier things that this country does as far as sporting events go. The Olympics, I think, are it's ridiculous how long the U.S. waits for the Olympics. I'll say again, when it comes to the Olympics, I don't know what the amount of money is, but the United States television contract pays for the Olympics. And it should be in this country a lot more. And so the people that run USA Olympics, I don't know how they don't get that here more often. It's finally going to come in 28 to L.A., but it takes far too long. I mean, the last time the Summer Olympics were here before that was, 94?
Is that before I was born? Good Lord.
I think 94, 96, Atlanta. 96, I think it was. So I just, I think getting the World Cup back here will be huge. I mentioned I did watch the Royals. If you did, am I the only one? I am compelled by watching when Tyler Tolbert enters the game. I'm in to the finish. That does not turn the TV off time. I actually pay more attention when I want to see what can a big leaguer do when a guy just lollipops the ball in. And I'm happy to say a couple of them can knock the ball over the wall, but not that far over the wall. I mean, it does show you that you need a little velocity coming at you, but that's just muscle up and pull.
Right.
Did you take note, Jack Caglione? I mean, they brought in a guy to lob it in there, and the fellas could take it over the wall.
Right.
Ty France took it over the wall. Who else? Who was the other one that?
Was it Jackson Merrill?
Yeah,
Or did he get one off an actual pitcher?
I'll look that up because I just thought that, this is how you do it, son. And not necessarily, I'm not trying to get him to go out and win the home run derby. I'm just saying, as a baseball player, this is the way you need to be tailoring your swing. It's an exaggerated way to do it, but am I the only one that's intrigued by Tyler Tolbert?
No, not at all. And I learned from Mick Schaefer on The Zone today. He said that Tyler Tolbert has now made as many pitching appearances as Bailey Falter, Connor Siebold, and he's closing in on Cole Reagans and Chris Bubich.
The way things are going, he's going to get there.
Yes.
The way things are going, he's going to get there. So, look, 19-2, I could care less. I really could. Let's see. France hit one off Tolbert. Tatis was off Strom. Merrill was off Cameron and Tolbert. Yeah. But as far as the Royals go, it's rough right now. I mean, it's not just the 19-2 because, like I said, Tolbert was 6 of those runs,
right.
So it was already 13-2 when he got in there. But what this game showed was that the Royals may have won the series. The Padres are the better team. All right, I mean, that one game could have gone either way on Friday night. Royals tried to give that away. Got a good win on Saturday and just got bludgeoned here. I mean, there was kind of some hope there that, they won the first 2 out of the break. Now they're going to – no. And your course is set. J.J. Picollo needs to be building for the future, whatever that future is. And if it's 27, I'll come back to what the big guy said. Curtis said it. Well, if you're all about 27, then go get a pitcher that you have control of in 27 and 28.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need it. Because right now the starting rotation for the Kansas City Royals, as far as health goes, looks like you're going to be running out there Noah Cameron, Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, and Luinder Avila. And who else? I don't know. Because a flexor tendon, Stephen Kolek now on the IL with that, down on his minor league rehab to come back after being on the Family Leave Act. He is headed towards Tommy John in all likelihood. That's what usually comes. Ryan Bergert's already had Tommy John. Cole Reagans has had his surgery. Chris Bubich is not under contract and isn't healthy anyway. The good news is that down in High A, Kendry Churio threw 5 no-hit innings, 5 innings, no hits, no runs, 2 walks, 10 Ks in 70-some-odd pitches. And he looks like he's might be a couple of outings away from being ready to go on up to Double-A.
Yeah.
And if he finishes this year, if he gets a good chunk of this year, if he gets 8 starts in Double-A, you're talking about a guy that you'd be projecting. You could project him to be part of your rotation coming down the stretch run of 27.
Yeah, he's made 5 starts now at High A. His first one, 5 earned, and then the next 4, 20 innings total, 2 earned.
Yeah.
So you'd like to see him rise quick, and that's exactly what he's looking like. He's pumping 97, 98.
I almost
to
don't.
The end of his outing.
I almost don't want to see that.
Not a quick rise?
No, I want to see a quick rise. I just don't want to see 98 all the time. I don't want to see him out there trying to win the radar gun battle. He throws strikes. He pitches. I want him to pitch. If he wants to rear back and go get it, Zach Greinke proved when they wanted him to throw his fastball and he went back to the bullpen, so he threw 100 for him. But when he went back to the rotation, he went back to pitching. And that's what Kendry Churio is Greinke-esque. I don't need him try.
Keith Law has said that he's got the best pure command of everybody in that futures game.
Yeah, and he said, and then I saw 99. I get it if he wants to hump up here and there, rear back and get it when you want it, when you need it, but I don't think he needs it every time he throws a fastball. And so I'd like to see him really perfect the art of pitching and not throwing because he's got those abilities. But so while the big league club is dead in the water, as far as I'm concerned, there is some good stuff going on in the minor leagues, a lot of it with the pitching. And so let's hope that, those guys stay healthy and they keep coming forward. But if you're not trading Michael Wacha and you're not trading Seth Lugo because you need him in 27, then I'd like to know what pitcher you're going to go get. And if it's like, hey, we're going to splash some cash around and get a free agent, great. But the deadline is an opportunity to go out and improve your ball club. The Royals need to do it. They need to do it, period. We're going to take a break. We come back. Matt Derrick will be with us. We'll talk some Chiefs football with the publisher of Chiefs Digest. He's with us next here in the program. Welcome back here on the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. As we make our way through a busy Monday, we welcome Matt Derrick earlier than normal, but still present and accounted for. Matt, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, Soren. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. Training camp gets going on Friday. We'll have the quarterbacks and the rookies in camp, and you are at a what level of optimism for this team as they get ready to start going to camp? What percentage do you put their playoff chances at?
I mean, I'll admit I'm pretty bullish on this team. So I'm about 90% on playoff chances. I think this team's going to be much improved from last year.
What do you think that they go into camp needing to get done? Are there, the first and foremost obvious one is the health of Patrick Mahomes and seeing where he's at and what he can do and being accurate about what he is so that you don't end up pushing him into a bad situation. But what else do they need to get done?
Yeah, there's a handful of things to me. I mean, one obviously is you need to make sure that the most important pieces on your offense are good to go and that you're in sync. I think this is going to be a team that's going to obviously rely on Kenneth Walker, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce. It's going to be that triumvirate. And you need to make sure that those three guys are all in sync with your quarterback and that they're good to go and ready to do what you want to do. I also think at tight end that they need to figure out what they have behind Travis Kelce, because every year that Travis gets up there, and he's going to be 37 this year, you need to be ready for having to play without him. I don't think they're very ready to play without him right now, and that would be my concern. And defensively, they've got a lot of starters to replace, but corner is the one that I'm most intrigued about. That's the one where I think that they've got the most questions. I can't tell you for sure which 6 corners are going to make this team, and I definitely couldn't tell you what order they're going to be in. I feel like pretty good about maybe the top 3. I just don't know the order of the top 3. But after that, I think there's a lot of question marks.
Yeah, I think so. Let's talk about how they might go about training camp different. They need to run the football better. They invested in Kenneth Walker. Largely, we know OTAs and minicamp are all basically just a passing camp. Do we see a different tone? Do we see more running? Do we see maybe more, tackling to the ground? Do you think that they will change how they go about trying to prepare to get the running game going? Or do they go the exact opposite and go, well, we invested in Kenneth Walker and we can't afford to lose him, so they end up not really doing much running-wise?
Yeah, that's an intriguing question. I mean, I think it is going to be a bit more of a physical camp this year than it has been in years past, because for no other reason, I think that Andy Reid has even addressed the full season from beginning to end the last few years, and as they've made these deeper playoff runs, it's, I don't want to say soft, but easier is probably the right word. Because, even during the year, they've backed off on being super physical. They really only have one day of the week in practice on Thursdays where they're in pads and it's a full practice. Even Wednesdays, even in September, are, some days they're not even in helmets on Wednesdays, for crying out loud. It's pretty soft out there. And, in camp, it's still been long and it's been arduous, but it hasn't always been super physical. And then sometimes they just do the things that they do. I think this year you've got to see more of a focus on what they want to be better. And, one thing they've gotten away from really is, in a lot of ways, has been, the big elements of the screen game that Andy Reid is usually so well known for. And I think that's going to make a return this year, particularly with the running backs. And it's a timing thing. That's something that has to be rehearsed in practice. You just don't go out there and run screens. It's a whole 11 concept of what you got to get done. So if they're going to run the screens, I think you're going to see some full screen days, which we used to see in abundance, Soren. That used to be something that, they say like once a week, it seemed like that they were running nothing but screens all day. And they've gotten away from that. The offense has gotten away from that. So I'll be intrigued. And if they're going to run less, fewer RPOs, then I think you will probably see some more physical practices in the run game. And, whether it's full tackle to the ground and how physical that is, we'll see. But I think it's going to be more aggressive than it has been in the last few years.
Yeah, the numbers, the over-under totals for Kenneth Walker, 925 rushing yards, 925.5, and 299.5 receiving yards. Let's start with the receiving yards. If this team is 12 plus wins, is there any way they get there without him going over 299.5?
I can't see it. I mean, I think he's probably going to be double that if they get where they want to go. And yeah, if they win the West, then I think his numbers across the board are going to be big. And I mean, I feel like those numbers are even just kind of light. Period. I mean, I know he's been kind of in that 250 to 300 kind of area most of his career, but this is Andy Reid's offense. This isn't the Seattle offense. It's going to be different, and he may cruise past that, Soren. I mean, you may cash if you bet the over on that one. You may cash that at midseason, for crying out loud.
Well, I'm trying to look 924 for Christian McCaffrey. Bijan Robinson was 820. I'm trying to, and I can't get them to go any lower. Those are the top running back catchers out there. I'll find a different site to try to get those, but what you think 600 is a possibility?
I think it's easily possible because I think he's going to get getting a little bit more of the work, obviously, than Chiefs pass running backs have gotten. But you go back, look at that 2022 season that like Jerick McKinnon had when he was over 500 yards, and that wasn't a full-time running back even. That was just the guy that you use in a lot of passing situations and wasn't on the field every down. Go back and look at Damian Williams' numbers. I mean, that's where I think you are kind of looking at. And I mean, because comparing Kenneth Walker to Isaiah Pacheco, it's not the same. Pacheco was never a receiving back the same way that these other guys are, in the same way that Kenneth Walker can be. And remember, his career depth of target in Seattle was negative. I mean, the average number of passes, the median number of passes he caught, was behind the line of scrimmage. They just didn't use him in those ways. The Chiefs, they're going to send him downfield. I mean, he's going to be running a lot more routes out of the backfield than he's done in the past. And from what we saw during OTAs and minicamp, he can do it. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's just angle routes out of the backfield, if it's even just doing some of the leaks out of the backfield and emergency valve stuff that he did in Seattle. But he can do other. I mean, they had him run deeper routes and some of the same things you saw Kareem Hunt do early in his career with the Chiefs, and even Damian Williams. I mean, I think you're going to see a variety of routes that he's going to run. It's not just going to be screens. It's not just going to be passes out into the flat. They're going to use him in a lot of different ways, and that's why I think that. Yeah, I mean, I think he could cruise past 500 pretty easily.
There were only 3 running backs last year that had more than 600 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 616, was the third, and along with Christian McCaffrey and Bijan Robinson, who I mentioned. I'm scrolling for number 4. Fourth on the list, Chris Brown from Cincinnati had 437. So now to your point, though, we're not talking about playing for other teams. You're talking about playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kareem Hunt's best yardage receiving wise was 455 in his rookie year. Jamal Charles in 13, Andy Reid's first season here in town, 693. He wouldn't top 300 in any other game. And Damian Williams, who was never really kind of the starter for a whole year and healthy for a whole year, but he topped out at 213 receiving yards. But he was more by committee and then the man when they got to the playoffs in 19. But 693 by Jamal Charles, I mean, that's a hell of a number. I mean, I don't know about 600, but I think he definitely needs to go past the 300 and get up to the 400 range to be able for this team to be everything it wants to be.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is that you mentioned it, Soren, and I think 2 of the bigger years that any Chiefs running backs have had since Jamal. Spencer Ware may have had a decent number one year, but I mean, Darrell Williams had 450. I mean, I
did he?
McKinnon had the 500. Yeah, Darrell had one big year. Like I think 2021 was his big year. He had like 450. So we're not talking like household names that have had some big receiving years for Andy Reid. That's why I think that Walker, with his skill set particularly, I mean, I think he can put up some big numbers. And again, it's going to depend on, how much does DeMarcado end up playing? How much does Emmett Johnson end up playing as well? Because I think that they like both those guys. And let's face it, I mean, the Chiefs are not a team that's necessarily going to go out and give their number one running back 350 touches or 400 touches or anything like that combined with catches. But I think he's going to get a lot of work.
Yeah, 452 and 2 for Darrell Williams, his top year for the Chiefs. And then your point about McKinnon, obviously not just the 512 yards, but 9 touchdowns as well. A lot of those on Patrick Mahomes scrambles and underhand tosses and hook shots. And Jerick McKinnon seemed, I saw somebody had tweeted out like the highlights of Mahomes' 22 year and, winning the MVP. And they were showing all his great plays. And on the other end of a lot of his, improvisation passes were Jerick McKinnon catching them and ended up in the end zone with it. So, yeah, I mean, I think some of that improv is probably done, and it's going to have to be a little bit more traditional. But, because who else is the big – Xavier Worthy, you think, is going to be a playmaker because of the great 40 time, but how many big plays have you seen Xavier Worthy make since he's been here? I mean, he had the big, catch and run, or was it a run against the Bills in his opening game? He had a couple more here and there, but, the
Super Bowl catch?
Yeah, they're kind of devoid of, and he had one more deep one, I think, against the Chargers. But they're kind of devoid of big plays. You almost feel like Kenneth Walker in the passing game is an opportunity for them to be explosive, because the rest of the team, despite some great 40 times with one of the receivers, they're not explosive.
Yeah, and that's been something obviously that has been the issue the last few years. And you look at this team and its big plays during the offensive heyday, and it seems like just there were big plays all over the place. And again, that's what teams have attempted to take away from this club. But again, when they've been trying to take away the deep plays from the Chiefs, it's been the last couple of years because they increasingly just haven't had to worry about the run game that much. And Walker should give them that ability. And I'm not even putting the whole thing on Kenneth Walker, because I think, again, when you're Andy Reid, and the way that he views the short passing game as an extension of the run game, and it's not even just what you do with your running backs, whether it's throwing the ball or designed or breakdown plays like Jerick McKinnon touchdowns could be, but it's even just the rub routes that you could do over the middle. That's another part of just the short passing game being an extension of the run game. There's going to be some other yards that you throw in there too that we haven't been there the last few years, because just teams have been dropping back, they've been packing back and saying, hey, we're daring the Chiefs to run the football because they just want to take away the pass. And this year, I don't think they're going to be able to get away with it. I'll be very intrigued to see how teams come out and address the Chiefs defensively, if they play them the way that they have in recent past, or if they're going to go back and maybe try and play some of the defenses that they attempted against the Chiefs, in maybe 19, 20, 21 kind of era, because I think that this offense is going to be more similar to that than what we've seen in the last few years.
Yeah. Do you have any hopes of anyone emerging amongst the wide receivers, or is it all on Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy to get it done? Or do you see Tyquan Thornton taking a step? Do you see Cyrus Allen being more than you would normally expect from a 5th-round pick? What do you see?
Yeah, and that's where it does get difficult, I think, and it's still too early to project, especially for a guy like Cyrus Allen. I'm bullish on him as well. I think that's a guy that can go out and again, you look at receivers for Andy Reid, and the outliers are the guys like Deshaun, and you look at even Rice's rookie year, because Rice's rookie was an outlier because nobody else was available. They just had to throw him out there and throw him the football. But otherwise, a really, really good year for an Andy Reid rookie receiver is in the 500-600 range. That's where Tyreek was, and Tyreek did that just purely athleticism. He didn't really know how to play receiver yet. Cyrus Allen knows how to play receiver. He doesn't have the skill set, obviously, that Tyreek did. But I'm fairly bullish on him too.
I might amend your. I agree with where you're going, but I would amend it. I don't know that skill set's the right word. The athleticism, but I think when you say he knows how to play, like, that's the skills. He's got the receiver skills that Tyreek Hill didn't have. He doesn't have He's not the explosive kind of athlete that Tyreek Hill was.
Yeah, he doesn't have the speed, doesn't have the juke, the quickness, all
the
of
strength.
Those things, but. The strength, but just the ability to know the position and understand the routes and what you need to do to get open. Cyrus Allen's there, so I think that's going to definitely help him. But then again, you look back and you're like, well, wait a minute. Chris Conley, had a lot of the similar type of abilities that Tyreek had, and also seemed to be, a bit more polished receiver than Tyreek was. But his rookie year wasn't anything to brag about, and some guys have struggled. I just don't think that Cyrus Allen's going to struggle. I feel like a 400-yard season is perfectly in his ballpark, and Tyquan, again, he is, I think, the more maybe only legitimate deep ball threat on this team, because I think he's the best ball tracker on this team. He's probably, you go back to the 40 time, and let's face it, Worthy did everything he could to try and get that record. If he had probably prepared for the combine the same way that Tyquan did, Tyquan's speed's probably faster. I think he's a faster receiver than Worthy is. So, he's, I think, your true deep ball threat. Hey, if he gets you 3 70-yard catches, that's halfway to 400 right there. I think 600 is easily in his stretches, and that's kind of a season. And Worthy, I don't know. You give me a full year of a healthy Xavier Worthy, and I think he's at least an 800,000-yard guy.
Yeah, I listen. I want to see it because to me, near as I can tell, is he's a 160-pound underneath receiver. Well, he doesn't. Does anybody on this team run a 15-yard out? Is part of the problem, maybe that's what Chad O'Shea needs to do more than anything. It's not, it's like, hey, Andy, we got some other routes we can run. When's the last time you remember somebody on on just a 15-yard out at the sideline?
Yeah, and a big part of that obviously is just that those are a lot easier to run when you can get teams to play a man up and not in zones, and that's been a difficulty. Beating a zone, I think, is still one of the more difficult things for young receivers to come out and do. Rasheed Rice was actually pretty good at that and has been pretty good at that at times. Obviously, Travis Kelce's experienced enough that he's good at that. But Worthy, I think, is still learning. But, if one of the benefits of the run game is that you're able to force teams to play a bit more man against you, Xavier Worthy in man coverage on a 15-yard out, I think he can eat people up. Absolutely can. And there was somebody had a clip on today on Twitter that I saw that it was just like another one of a great route that Xavier ran, and absolutely just got completely on an open on just faking the going in and then kicking out instead, and just the way that they shuffled his feet just absolutely left the defender flat-footed. And he can do those things, but again, it's a lot easier to do against man coverage, and it's going to be against all the zones that the Chiefs have faced.
We all want to see if Patrick Mahomes is healthy. Who else are you checking? Travis Kelce, did he spend the whole offseason getting ready for a wedding and not getting ready for a football season? I'm interested to see how he looks. Who else are you just intrigued by what we're going to see, just to see him out there moving around, what they look like?
Well, obviously Rasheed Rice too. Yeah, you got to see if the prison diet did anything to him, and if he stayed in shape, and obviously the knee surgery. We don't know. I don't know for certain that he's going to be ready to go at the beginning of camp. That was at the time reported as about a 2-month recovery, which would put you right at the beginning of training camp. It's entirely possible that he starts out limited or on the PUP list in some way. So, again, if he's going to be one of the guys you count on, you want everybody out there working together. And I don't know where he will be. Then there's Omar Norman Lott, I think, is obviously the other one that you really don't know if he's going to be ready for the beginning of the season or not. That's the one recovery that the Chiefs have had that's the most extensive. So I don't know what his status is going to be. I still think it was really interesting when Xavier Worthy said that he didn't quite feel 100% yet during OTAs. Even though he said, hey, that wearing the yellow jersey was just protective. It was just his doctors that wanted him to be in the yellow jersey, not him. But I'll be interested to see if he's a full go, or they're going to protect him a little bit more at the beginning of camp. And then otherwise, it's just, to me, it's a lot of X factors around. It's maybe some other injuries that pop up that you don't know about. I'll be intrigued because, again, I don't know with L'Jarius Sneed. I don't know what the Chiefs are expecting of him or how he's going to fit in. But, again, that knee and where he's at physically, because the last couple of years he's not been available, and the knee has been a real problem. So, let's see how he does. And if there's the moment that, hey, L'Jarius, they start to have to back him off in camp, is going to be the time that I'm like, okay, well, that's pretty much your evidence that you need that, hey, you've got to manage L'Jarius. He's not the same guy anymore.
When we talk next, Matt, you'll be in St. Joe. How does that make you feel?
After I looked at the forecast today, knowing it's going to rain on Friday, not super great. Although I know that at least that means my battery won't overheat in my phone. But I'm just expecting to get into the pattern of 90s pretty much every day, and I'm over it, Soren.
Matt, you're the man. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great, my friend. Take care.
Wrapping up hour number one, Blair Kirchhoff going to join us in our next hour. We'll talk some college football, SEC Media Days going on. By the way, taking a look at the best receiving years, to Matt Derrick's point about the 299.5 over-under total for receiving yards for Kenneth Walker. Players that have topped 299.5, there's actually a couple more that we didn't even mention. Jamal Charles, 693, under Andy Reid I'm talking about. Jamal Charles, 693 in 13. Jerick McKinnon, 512 in 22. Kareem Hunt, 455 in 17. Darrell Williams, 452 in 21. Spencer Ware in 2016 had 447. And Kareem Hunt, 378 in 18. And then Samaje Perine, 322 just a couple of years ago, 2024. Samaje Perine went over that. Clyde almost got there, 297. But if they're going to be successful, they're going to have to get more from the running backs because I don't see a lot of big plays coming from the wideouts. It's going to have to come from Kenneth Walker and the other backs.
All right, in the college football playoff era, how many schools have made the college football playoff, the men's and women's College World Series, and the men's Final Four? Brought to you by Twin Peaks.
You enjoying some AFC South football?
Who doesn't enjoy a little AFC South football every now and then?
That's what we're running here. Like the best of the AFC South is on the NFL Network today. So
they've won a Super Bowl, right? Just the one though.
The Colts.
No Jags. No
I don't know that. I don't think they've won it since. Did the Colts win it as a member of the AFC South, or were they still in like the?
No, I think so. I think it was AFC South time. Wasn't it 06 or 07 or something?
Yeah, the Rex Grossman Bears.
Yeah. In the rain in Miami, as I recall. But I think that's the only Super Bowl for that division.
Who are the teams in the New York Super Bowl, where we got like 47 degrees somehow? After that week, it was like 4. Because I remember being outside, walking to dinner in New York City, and I'm like, this is awful. But we'd already seen the weather, and it was like, but it's going to turn, and they're going to have a good Sunday for them. But I don't even remember who the hell played in that New York Super Bowl.
It was Seahawks Broncos.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, the Russell Wilson.
Was Peyton Manning playing for the Broncos then?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought Peyton Manning was in the game. That was a turd. I was going to tell you.
Awful.
The setup, the convention area they had, like we all had about like 3 feet. Like for every radio station. That's it. Like the space they had, it really sucked. And I like New York a lot. I like visiting New York.
Yeah.
But man, that they did not do well. Like after watching us host the World Cup, I think if and damn well better be when we get a Super Bowl after funding this dome and practice facility and everything. I think we'll do a hell of a job hosting a Super Bowl.
I think so. After what happened of the last 6 weeks here in Kansas City, I don't think there's any event this town couldn't entertain. Everything. For a Super Bowl, I think we'll get a Super Bowl. I think Convention Center could be the headquarters where you'd have all the activities.
Yep.
And I think we'll get a Final Four, although maybe not as early as we hoped, because the bids for the Final Four go out later this year, and
it's for like 8 of them or something.
Yeah, well, think about this: there are
or 6 of them that start 3 years from now, or something like that.
And there's two factors that are kind of working against Kansas City in this regard. One is there's other cities building dome stadiums. And the other one is the NCAA doesn't want a city bidding if the building's not already completed. So for this bid cycle...
That's funny you say that because, by the way, Blair Kirchhoff is with us on a Monday because he's going to be on vacation later on. It's that time of year where everybody's out, but we're not going to have a week go by and not have Blair. He's brought to you by our friends at Art and Frame Warehouse, framekc.com. You want to find them online. Specialists, experts when it comes to framing your sports memorabilia, be that an autographed jersey, maybe it's a bat, a ball, whatever you want it displayed perfectly. You go to Art and Frame Warehouse, framekc.com. That's framekc.com is where you can find them online. It's funny you mention that because now 2 weeks ago, this is when I was in Tahoe and the Big 12 was going on. Leabo was down at the Big 12 in Frisco, Texas, suburb of Dallas.
At the Star.
At the Star. And Kathy Nelson was there. And Kathy Nelson said the NCAA said, we've got to get you the application for the Final Four with this dome stadium.
Well, I wonder if they'll make an exception for Kansas City in this regard.
I don't know. I mean, or maybe it's just like, hey, we want you, maybe it was just small talk and it was like, hey, we want to get you back in the mix and that was it.
Yeah,
but in reality, no, you don't have. And she said, which is amazing because I don't even know what the building's going to be.
Right? Nobody knows what it's going to be or look like or exactly where and all that.
Yeah.
But there was I can't remember the city that happened in this 20 or 25 years ago. The NCAA awarded a Final Four to a city that didn't have its building completed, and it was just completed when the Final Four was there, and there were problems being in a new building, not having it broken in, basically. So it's my understanding that the next bid cycle is going to be from 32 through 36. They're awarded through 31, so 32 through 36. That would be the early, and in one of those years would be the earliest Kansas City could get one. But
more likely we're going to be stuck on the 37 plus.
737. Don't be surprised if it's 37. Be the first one of the following bid cycle.
Okay.
So it's 10 years. It's a decade.
It is. I mean, you mentioned other domes coming on. Nashville, Chicago is going to be a dome.
I think Cleveland is looking.
Cleveland's is going to be a dome.
And all of a sudden, for a while when there weren't enough of those buildings, they were going to the same 5 or 6 every year. Now you have a dozen or more to choose from, which is great for the NCAA, but it's going to be tougher to get in line. The line's longer for future events like that.
And you've been, when we've done Final Fours at Houston, like nothing is that reliant, or whatever they call it now.
At NRG.
NRG. Nothing is over there. The only thing that's there are the games.
Just in the practice on that Friday. The open practice for the fans.
Everything else is like the coaches convention, the fan fest, all that is in their little downtown area.
Yeah.
You can call Houston such a gun shop next to daycare, next to strip club, next to church, next to
the taxidermy,
tamale stand, next to like it's not a lot of zoning. I mean, none. You think I'm kidding? Drive through Houston sometime, and you'll be like, oh look, randomly 4 buildings over 60 stories right here, amongst nothing else. That's fantastic. It's an odd town, but what that downtown area is, that area is kind of functional because they've got hotels there, and that's where they put a bunch of, that's where the outdoor fan fest is, and the convention center's there for us, and then for them to do stuff inside. And I'm with you. I think that's what it'll be for Super Bowl and/or Final Four here in Kansas City. Is we'll be in Bartle Hall for like the media things and all their different, Roger Goodell's speech and all that, or the coaches convention for the NCAA with things spilling into the P&L, being over there, a lot of events over there, music and whatnot. And then you can even do the practices at T-Mobile.
Yeah.
And then, they want to practice where they're going to play. That's part of the background. So you'll be trucking it out to the Dome
for the Friday before. But so you wonder now if there are enough for the high-rise 4-star, 5-star downtown hotels with the Lowe's and the Marriott, the 2 Marriotts, the Muehlebach and the Marriott. There's some of the budget hotels downtown. There's a Hampton and a Courtyard and all in that area.
There's some boutique hotels down there as well,
and a lot of boutique hotels. That's been a thing over the last few years.
Don't you think we're going to get a high-rise hotel right next to that's going to be part of what the Chiefs own?
Yes, I do think that's going to be that's going to be part of the landscape. Is a high rise.
We do still have also Crown Center, which isn't that far away. I mean, I think
all connected by the streetcar now.
And we've gone. I don't know when the last time you covered a Super Bowl has been, but
just the Chiefs.
Okay,
so New Orleans 2 years ago.
And so New Orleans is a great town for that. But we've been in other cities where you could be in any one of a hotel that's 10 miles, 20 miles from where the epicenter is, and they just have shuttles taking you there.
Tampa, St. Pete's that way.
So, I mean, I think that's how it would be here for if and when we have those events again.
Right. Listen, whatever national event Kansas City hosts, as was the case with the World Cup, will be on the smaller side of things. But the infrastructure, the volunteer network, which can't be underestimated, the importance of that, and the things that Kansas City did really well, the fan fests, that puts Kansas City on just a different scale, I think. And we've talked about this before. There was a time 20, 25 years ago when it looked like Kansas City was getting passed up by other places. We lost the NCAA national headquarters to Indy, and the Big 8 turned into the Big 12, and their local office went to Dallas, and we were just kind of on a losing streak for stuff like this. 25 years later, after having just hosted the World Cup and done by all accounts, a terrific job doing it, I just think it puts Kansas City on a different tier for these things. And anybody who's considering, any sports organization considering a national tournament or a national event is going to think about Kansas City. He's going to want Kansas City to be part of the bidding process. And that's Women's World Cup, the rugby, the men's and women's rugby, which are big events that are coming, Final Four, Super Bowl, maybe, if you want to dream a little, Olympic trial type events, if you have the right facilities for it. So, no, I think that when the history of what just happened over the last month or month and a half is written, then I think what we're looking at in the future is going to be part of that.
Is it about time for Kansas City to be vying to get the Big 12 out of Dallas? I mean, why is Dallas TCU's in Fort Worth? Yay.
Well,
Baylor's an hour and a half away.
Yeah. Originally, it was there because
It was there to placate Texas and Oklahoma.
and the commissioner, the first commissioner of the Big 12, the competition came down to the commissioner of the Southwest Conference or the athletic director at Kansas, Bob Frederick, or Steve Hatchell. And Hatchell was the Southwest Conference commissioner. He won the votes. He got to pick where the conference office was going to be. He basically chose where he was already living at the time, which was Dallas. And that hurt a lot of people up here. I mean, Kansas City had been the home of the conference office since its inception. I mean, James Naismith was at the first meeting of the new Missouri Valley Conference, which was in Kansas City, and they took it away, and it hurt a lot of people. In terms of impact, it didn't mean much. I mean, you're talking a couple dozen employees or whatever it takes. But
the perception.
Yeah, it was a perception thing. And it was part of the losing streak that Kansas City was on at that time. And people were bothered by it. Let's see what the Big 12 looks like, in a few years, Well, but no doubt, geographically speaking, it should be somewhere around here. I mean, if you're going to go as far west as Arizona, as far east as Florida and West Virginia, that's why the tournament, the tournament's staying in Kansas City for the foreseeable future because of that.
We're probably a few more flights away from it being practical, but I will tell you, flying into Dallas, I can't. I think it might be better to drive. And that's an 8-hour drive, and I'm not kidding. I mean, Leabo and I, when we went down there, we were delayed going down there. We were delayed as hell coming out. It took us longer to fly home than it would have been to drive. And Leabo, because I said to Todd, I said, should we just drive when we went last year? And he's like, no, we're going to fly. Well, we didn't get to the hotel till after midnight, after being delayed for like 2+ hours. Yeah. The airport sucks.
Did you go to DFW?
Yes, it's terrible. It's 100 degrees in there. They're like, the air conditioning doesn't work. The restaurants are crap. It's that circular turd style that Kansas City was. The airport sucks. I'm such an airport snob now that, like, when I go into places like Salt Lake City, beautiful airport, fantastic. Probably the only one I've been in that I would say is, I think this one might be better than Kansas City.
It's a great airport.
It's like an unbelievable shopping mall,
right?
But with all the same spacious and new and glass and natural light and everything. It's a spectacular airport. But I mean, Charlotte sucks, blows. Awful. Terrible.
It's huge. It's become a huge Charlotte's become a massive airport, America's big hub.
It's one of those where it's got 5 gates all at one end, or 6 of them, and not enough seats for 2 flights, with 3 of them all coming in at the same time. You literally, you almost can't get to your gate.
I can name a lot of airports like that where they crowd about 6 to 8 gates at the end of the terminal, and you're thinking, oh my God.
Yeah. So, I think we're a few more flights. Like that airport's not at max capacity, but if that airport were at max capacity, and I will tell you this, if the streetcar or some kind of light rail went from downtown to the airport, then that's it. I think
that would be fantastic.
I think that's the thing that they're missing. And that's one of the things I kind of liked about if the North Kansas City spot was going to get it, was they were going to extend the streetcar across the river. They were going to build a bridge. And they're like, we're only a quick run to the airport. And I was like, okay. If we could connect up airport all the way to the plaza.
That would be very cool. One thing we've already done, my wife and I, is we have taken the airport shuttle from the Overland Park Convention Center to the airport. That's still running. Even after the World Cup, that's going to run. So you can still do that. Now
that's just a bus, right?
It is. It's a bus, and you can't park there. They won't let you park or leave your car, so you can't do long-term parking at the OP Convention Center.
Well, they ought to fix that.
Well, either you take an Uber up there or something, and but you can still, instead of paying to driving up to the airport from, let's just say here, 35 to 40 miles, and if it's a long weekend or 5 days trip or something. And then you catch the bus on the way back, and if you've got a place to park, that's a heck of a deal, and it's a step in the right direction. I still think light rail is the way to go. Some kind of train to get you to the airport. Mm-hmm. You're right. That's sort of the next frontier in the development of Kansas City.
It had been a long time since I was on a subway, but a couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks ago, when I was in New York, I was back on. We were going everywhere on the subway because my buddy lives in Manhattan.
Yeah,
and I forgot how unbelievably convenient it is. We went from the World Trade Center up to, we went what would have been a 35-minute cab ride in 8 minutes. It's unreal. how convenient that is.
Yeah, I'm all about public
I
transportation.
mean, we went clear over to Brooklyn. We went all the way to Brooklyn, in like from 23rd. Yeah, which means nothing to anybody if you're not familiar with New York, and it's only fresh in my mind because I was just there. But it would have been to go across one of the big bridges. I don't think there's a tunnel to Brooklyn. I think it's only bridges. It would have been a 35-40 minute deal, and it took us, I think, about 16 minutes, 15 minutes.
And that's not in traffic, not in the morning rush or evening rush.
No, no. I'm like, so like if you could get on, I mean, I think people. The streetcar, little by little, when people ride it, like you don't have a reason to do it, you don't do it. But like parking, if you want to go to the River Market area, like there's not great parking.
No, there's not.
So if you can
limited parking,
if you can jump on it around UMKC where you know there's a great parking place, and you hop on it and ride in and ride out, like people are going to get real accustomed to how convenient it is, and that's the beauty of it.
I thought if you had to list winners and losers from the World Cup experience in Kansas City, I think the streetcar was a big winner in this. Just people who, not just international visitors that came and discovered it, couldn't believe it was free, but people who were going to Fan Fest who lived in Kansas City who'd never ridden it.
Well, Nate made a great point. He said, where everybody was hearing that all the businesses everywhere in town are going to get this big boost, did that end up being the case? No. But everyone that was along the streetcar did.
Yeah, that's
because
right.
people who come from other cities, particularly big cities, anywhere in the world, they have those things. And that's what they're accustomed to traveling. So they're going to go to the places along that. So now, to me, if you're Brookside, if you're Waldo, the places that are just south of, and by the way, where there used to be a track that they call it the trolley trail.
Right.
You put that rail back in there. I don't know how you. What about my running trail? I don't know. We'll figure something out. But if you put that back in, all those businesses would have been having lots of people because they just jump on the train and go down to, let's go try this place. This place has got 4.7 stars. Let's go down there and check it out. We'll ride it all the way to Brookside. We'll ride it all the way to Waldo. And you just keep adding the links. I mean, the New York subway, they didn't go, okay, here's where we're going. When you look at it, it's hard to get your arms around because it goes so many places and on into Connecticut, and you just change here, and then they put the map up on the subway wall, and I was trying to figure out because
how many different colors are there for that map?
And you're like, okay, and that helps you because I follow the red line and all that kind of stuff, but they didn't build it all at once. It started with what you have, and then you expand from there, and that's what just has to keep happening, and it will increase our ability to bring people and have major events.
I had I was out to dinner at a Midtown restaurant on Friday, and I had the server. We were talking about World Cup business, and now, so this is not a place on the line, right? This would be off the line, and the server was telling me that their business was very average during the World Cup until the day before game and the day of the game, and because all the games were at night, the 6 games that Kansas City played, they were all at night. He said the business was so busy and so good that they did months worth of business just on those. He said it was like having 6 extra Chiefs games. That's how busy they are during the Chiefs. So day before a game and day of a game if it's a night game or a late afternoon game, and this is a place that's 2 miles off the light rails system.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty illuminating. I thought that that they were not on, not in the center of downtown, but still really did well during the World Cup.
The SEC is chirping about breaking away, whatever that means. We'll talk about it next. SEC Media Days. Blair Kirchhoff is with us. He's brought to you by our friends at Art and Frame Warehouse. Michael and his great staff, 25 years in business. Kansas City's best when it comes to all your framing needs, and they specialize. They are experts when it comes to framing your sports memorabilia. Every piece of sports memorabilia I had it framed at Art and Frame Warehouse. You can find them online right now at framekc.com.
The program with Soren Petro.
I wouldn't say that.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Special employee pricing for everyone on select 26 GMC Sierra 1500s. That's right, employee pricing for everyone on some of the 26 GMC Sierra 1500s if your truck is your office. If you're in the market, if you've been thinking, hey, I was going to get a truck next year, well, consider this. How about 0% APR for qualified buyers on new 26 Chevy Silverados? You can get it right now at Roberts Robinson. That's what they've got going on. Employee pricing for everyone on select 26 GMC Sierra 1500s and 0% APR for qualified buyers on new 26 Chevy Silverados. Like I said, if your truck is a part of your everyday work life and you need a new one, now is the time to get to Roberts Robinson. How about the Chevy Equinox SUVs? You can get 0% APR for 5 years and no payments for 90 days right now. Go to robertsrobinson.com to check out more than 150 new and used vehicles right now. And don't forget, military and first responders, you get 10% off parts and labor for your vehicle service. And seniors, 60 plus, 10% off every Tuesday and Thursday when it comes to getting your work done. The service department is absolutely outstanding. They did a phenomenal job. Came down, my daughter needed a new windshield, came down, got the car, gave us a loaner car, took it back, fixed it, brought it back. It was the easiest thing I've ever done. Great people who love what they do. So check out for yourself, whether it's Tim in sales, whether it's the finance manager, Jordan, maybe the service manager, Robbie. Mike Robinson has got an incredible team ready to help you out. While you're on the lot, and even after you drive off the lot, they are there for you. And don't forget, you can get the lifetime powertrain warranty as well. That's right, free lifetime powertrain warranty on all new vehicles. It's only available at a few Kansas City GM dealerships, and Roberts Robinson has it. So what are you waiting for? Go to robertsrobinson.com today.
Men, when addressing the problem of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation because every case is different, and finding the right treatment can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and at our practices, we offer the full range of ED treatment protocols and can even combine therapies to help make those intimate moments special both for you and your partner. At Heartland Men's Health, we take great pride in providing excellent care and treatment options for ED. Our medical providers specialize in men's sexual health and understand that no two cases are alike, which means you'll get the right treatment for you based on sound medical evaluation and appropriate applications of medical therapies. Plus, we offer treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most men, you'll get your sex life back. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
You wouldn't send your team onto the field unprepared, so don't head into summer without checking your AC. Comfort Systems Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing has kept Kansas City homes and businesses comfortable since 1990.
Comforting people is what we do. Comfort Systems right for you. MyComfortSystems.com.
Kansas City, make your July a little more green light. Stars, Stripes, and Strains brings all-month savings on your favorite cannabis products, plus easy shopping with drive-through or express pickup windows at select locations. 5 KC area dispensaries for adults 21 and older. The best cannabis deals always at greenlightdispensary.com.
Stop overpaying for your mortgage and stop missing investor deals. While other lenders are stuck quoting high payments and slowing you down, Cap One Lending is helping buyers and investors win right now. Home buyers, why overpay? With the right strategy, qualified buyers can access programs with rates starting in the 4s. Low or no down payment options, fast approvals, and closings in as little as 2 weeks. For investors, speed is everything. Fix and flip, we fund it. Rental properties, DSCR, no income docs, building your portfolio, we help you scale fast. So stop hesitating, stop shopping dead-end lenders, get your funding lined up now. Call Cap One Lending, 816-905-1111, or go to caponelending.com.
Cap One Lending, making you...
All right, our Twin Peaks into the hour answer. In the college football playoff era, how many schools have made the college football playoffs, the men's and women's College World Series, and the men's Final Four?
Ooh.
Well, the first school that pops to me is Oklahoma. They've done all those
That
things.
is one of them.
That makes sense because they just won
The ladies.
the men's World Series this
Yeah.
year. And so the playoff era started.
When are you counting, like 2-team or 4-team?
4-team.
Oh, okay. So we're like back to 2014.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Probably not many.
Would
Three or four,
would
I'd
Florida
say.
have done it?
Florida jumps out at me. Is Florida one of them?
It is not.
No. Which one did they miss? Women's softball, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe they haven't. They've been good at it. I don't know if they've won it, though.
Or maybe baseball. I don't.
I don't know. They haven't won a playoff.
The team had to win a playoff game?
No,
Just made it.
Oh,
Okay.
just made it. Well, they've done that, haven't they?
They must have missed one of them because they are not one of them.
Okay. I don't know. We'll say 4.
4 is correct.
Oh,
okay.
You've got Oklahoma, Bama, Texas Tech, and Michigan.
Texas Tech. That's a good one. I remember,
Okay.
they got to the championship game in 19.
So you didn't have to win them, just
Had to
be in them.
be in the Final Four,
That's right.
be in the College World Series, the women's, the softball, the baseball, men's and women's basketball.
And then the college football playoff.
Or men's basketball, football. It was good. That's a good list.
Yeah.
Text the sneaky, kind of the sneaky one there.
Was that yours, or did the big guy send that in?
That is not Curtis. That was actually a Chumps question I got from a listener.
Oh, nice. Well,
So, poor guy's getting no credit.
yeah. Well, we'll
during
hook him
the
up.
Chumps segment.
We'll hook him up with something. We'll make it worthwhile.
Yeah, I'll have to.
It is the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHP. Blair Kirchhoff with us. The great Blair Kirchhoff, brought to you by our friends at Art and Frame Warehouse, online at framekc.com. See him in person at 92nd and Metcalf. Tell him you heard about it right here on 810. You can get special discounts on some sports memorabilia and shadow boxes and such, so go see him. Michael and his staff are fantastic, celebrating 25 years in business. Buy in bulk, you get gallery quality at warehouse prices at Art and Frame Warehouse. Find them online at framekc.com. What do you make of the latest posturing from the SEC about, we've got some really frustrated people. We're going to, we're looking at doing our own thing.
Yeah.
Like, what does that mean,
Yeah, well, and Greg Sankey was asked about it again today because today's the opening day of SEC Media Days, and he said, yeah, they were serious about those conversations were serious about the SEC basically breaking away from the NCAA and existing by itself as its own 16-team conference with the option to invite whoever it wants to invite and play by whatever rules they want to play by, and basically be their own self-governing conference. I think there's the threat there that if the rest of the power groups in college sports don't kind of acquiesce to what the SEC and the Big Ten to a lesser extent want, that the SEC has this sort of nuclear option of breaking away. I don't think it'll ever happen, but the fact that it's out there as a suggestion got a lot of attention. It's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah, so what do they think they're going to do? Like, they're going to just, okay, we're pulling out of all this. We're just going to do an SEC championship.
Have our own championships.
And then, so the SEC championship game will be it. That's it. That's all we do. We're not going to participate in the playoffs.
Right.
Like, is that really where they're thinking?
Yeah, I suppose. I haven't seen a good breakdown of how something like this would work, but just hearing about it strikes me as, well, this is kind of how college football was 50 years ago when you couldn't get all the teams together to settle who number one was.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have separate bowls and have a panel to vote on it at the end of the season to determine who the champion of college football was. And so is that what we'd have with a separate SEC and then have the Big Ten and everybody else play in their own tournament, and you have the SEC champion, and you have to measure that against the survivor of the other, college football playoff? How silly would all that be?
Well, I mean, I like the thing that I would hope would happen is that, like, who awards the national championship? Like, are they just going to be like, we're not going to be a part of that? We're just going to have an SEC championship, and that's it? And so then we'll go on awarding national championships.
There's still a trophy from the AP. There's still a vote
Right.
that takes place at the end of the year, and it's always the national championship winner is
Right.
1, the runner-up is 2, and so on. And then there's still a coaches poll, and so there's an award for that as well. But it's the college football playoff that determines the national championship.
The coaches poll has officially said we'll give it to whoever wins that, I think is the deal. And the AP has gone along with it.
Has its own.
And back when we had the two teams playing, they went against it once with the Michigan pick, I think. Michigan was still playing in the Rose Bowl and didn't go play. And so we got a split title between Miami and Michigan. Was that what it was?
Well, there was one more recent than that, like Southern Cal and LSU in 2004
that's right.
or 5. One of the
Maybe that's
2004.
it. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
And they had a reason to split the vote or what have
Yeah.
you. And so, I mean, I guess somebody might be like, okay, I'm going to give it to the SEC champ. But wouldn't you just like penalize them and be like, okay, go do your thing.
Right.
Go be your 16 schools over there. Like, if you're not validating that you're the best league by beating the other leagues, then you're gonna lose out. I mean, I think it's saber rattling that they're not going to back up.
I don't think it'll ever come to this. Right now there's pressure on the two senators. Is it Blackburn from Tennessee and Cruz from Texas, and even Eric Schmidt from Missouri is part of this. That trying to get this legislation passed. And to be honest with you, I don't know everything that's involved in the legislation, but that's what the SEC that was a conversation topic this morning with Greg Sankey at SEC Media Days, and why things aren't haven't been going. This supposedly breakaway actually was a suggestion of a president. It was one of the school presidents. I think it was Georgia's president that said at their meetings in Destin in May, the SEC presidents, that we could exist by ourselves outside of the realm of the NCAA and the other leagues, and conduct our own championships and be satisfied with all that.
I think with about 40 teams, they could probably do it. They could pull it off. If you take the SEC, the Big Ten, and then they cherry pick who they want, but then what makes it complicated is, okay, but you want to do a basketball tournament. Well, if you've turned your back on all those schools, why would they let you into their basketball tournament?
Well, that's in any discussion of a power, one single power conference of name 32, 40, 50 of teams. To me, the biggest potential casualty is the basketball tournament. It's basketball at the schools that are that have broken away to form their football league, because they wouldn't be invited to a tournament that would include the majority of the schools in the league. So, all of this, not all of it, but a lot of it comes back to NIL and what schools want to, what they want to do with their money and how they want to spend their money. And they don't want to be told, it's the age-old problem in sports is the schools with the most resources don't want to be told how to spend their money.
Well, and the basketball tournament is the money they can't get their hands on. They've got all the football money.
They do.
Right? So it's the basketball, and that expires in 32.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that would seem to be the timeline, and that's also when the ACC buyouts would be low enough that if those 7 schools that went out are going to get out and go join the SEC or the Big Ten or whatever they think they're going to do, or join some new breakaway thing, then that would be the time, because once that contract is up, you just don't sign a new one.
Right.
You don't sign on. And so that is our judgment day. Is 2032 is when the NCAA is either going to have a major reform or is going to go away, or it's going to become the NAIA, because if it loses all the big boy schools in basketball, it won't be able to sell the tournament rights.
That's right. That'll.
But I also don't think 40 schools can put on a tournament that would draw this kind of revenue.
No. Not if. Think about it. Not if UConn wasn't part of it. Not if Kansas wasn't part of it. Not if
Arizona,
Houston.
Yeah.
Not if they're not a part. Duke.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would have a problem. You'd have a problem selling that event.
So I wish somebody would be like, go ahead. Call them out. Like, okay, how are you going to do it? It's like every now and then, somebody in Texas or California gets a burr in their ass that, we're going to break away. We're going to okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, especially when it's like Texas. Texas, they're the ones that actually get uppity about it every now and then. It's like, it's funny.
We could live by ourselves.
Yeah. Go ahead, and wait till you see how much the federal money, of which a vast majority of it's paid for by New York, Massachusetts, and California. Okay, like the heavily Pennsylvania. That's where all the money's coming from. I know you got a pretty big population down there in Texas, but you're living off. Like when I hear that, I think the SEC is the same thing. Okay, yes, you're a big deal, and we all consider you a big deal. But how many times do we have to kiss your ass and tell you that? Like, you already are taking the most, and now it literally is. It's not enough to just get these golden eggs from the goose. I want to cook her. Yeah. Okay, stupid. Go ahead.
Right.
I mean,
well, how many more times does the SEC have to not win a national championship in football?
Well, that's part of they're getting a lot more hollow, and the odds-on favorite, like. They're Texas is the third favorite.
Yeah, we
There's
were looking
two
at this
favorites in front of
recently.
them.
The top 5 is depending on what you're looking at. And I think you and I were looking at the odds last week, and Texas.
Well,
is
CNC
higher.
had him. He had Georgia pick 5th was his highest SEC one, but the odds, I think Texas Georgia 5th was his highest SEC team, but the odds had Texas 3rd,
and Georgia probably 5 or
in
the top. So 2 of the top 5 still. I remember years when you'd have 4 of the top 5 would be SEC schools, Bama and and A&M and LSU and Auburn it is definitely that tide has shifted, especially at the top of the conference. I still believe from top to bottom the SEC is stronger than the Big Ten, but at the top the Big Ten is absolutely has proved it over the last several years. That is the best conference.
It is the best conference. It's Ohio State, Notre Dame, Texas, but then it's Oregon and Indiana. 3 of the top 5 are Big Ten. Now, Georgia's 6 on the odds, but Miami's 7. Texas Tech is 8. Then it's LSU. So, like, the days of, like, I do think the SEC has come back to the pack a little bit with the NIL, and I think that's part of their fear right now. And I've said it for a couple of years now. Go look at the endowments. It's the biggest indicator of how much money these schools really have. And the SEC, it's great. Great weather. You got a lot of things going. You know what you don't have? Michigan's endowment. Ohio State's endowment. You don't have their alumni base. You don't have medical centers. Which you know what that means? Doctors. Doctors give lots of money because they make lots of money. Do you have a law school? If you don't, lawyers give lots of money.
It's a reflection of the state's wealth in a lot of cases.
Yes.
The schools that you named, especially in the Big Ten.
Indiana's got a massive alumni base. It's not a coincidence that they're pouring money into their football team. Oh, it's just about money now? Okay, well, we can do that.
Right. But Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, the places where with the 100,000 seat stadiums, and they love their football too. Don't tell them it doesn't mean more.
Yeah,
I mean, it means just as much there as it does in the Southeast.
Yeah, it's so like I love this posturing because I don't think it's going to do squat.
But it's funny you say that because this is the time when the SEC gets to crow just because they've got the microphone. It's SEC Media Days. Drinkwitz was he was the first one out of the gate this morning and was trying to explain why the Big Ten has won the 3 national championships in a row at the expense of the SEC. SEC hasn't even been in the championship game for any of them.
Well, we're going to play some of that later, but what was his theory?
One of them had to do with non-conference scheduling, and in the Big Ten. The SEC is going to 9 conference games this year. He thinks it's a bad idea, and thinks that 9 conference games plus the requirement to play as one of your 3 non-cons a Power 4 school.
Right.
And he says that's watering down the SEC a little bit.
How is playing the SEC
They're beating each other
watering
up.
down the SEC?
They're beating each other up.
I mean, you're still making millions.
Yeah.
You can't go out and play a real game. I get it for him because what's the stat? Curtis was just talking about it last week, Kyle. What's the stat? He still has not beaten an SEC team with a winning record. Is that what it is?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I understand why he's running from it.
He's great at media days. He's become can't miss at SEC media days. He always says something that's kind of out there a little bit.
Oh, he fires.
Yeah.
I mean,
he does.
And listen, that stat does suck, and he's got to correct it. And I think it's just a matter of time. I think it's more coincidence than anything.
It is.
But as long as it's there, it's real.
Right.
And no one's making it up.
And it's not 2 years. It's not 2 years worth.
No.
He's going on year, 6, right?
Yeah, I mean, we know that he can. He beat Ohio State. I don't care who did or didn't play. He beat Ohio State in a bowl game. We know he can.
Yep.
They just haven't. They need to get that done. It's like I know Missouri can go to a Final Four. They just haven't.
Right.
They need to get that done. Right? Like that's, like the Chiefs needed to get back to a Super Bowl. It's been 50 years.
Right.
Right? K-State could use a Final Four, I'll be honest,
Yes, it can. As many Elite Eights as they've been to in the last 20 years, they need to break through and get to one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of the things that needs to happen. But, is this the year for Drinkwitz?
I don't know.
6.5 is his win total.
That would suggest no. 11 new starters on defense, new quarterback. Now, I think he did say today that it's looking pretty positive for Ahmad Hardy. And
so he's been cleared.
Yeah. So that's really good news. I hope that progress continues and he's every bit the running back he was a year ago, and Roberts back there with him. It is a great backfield. And if Simmons can be the quarterback that people think he could be, then maybe maybe they're closer to the 10-11 win Tigers they were a couple years ago, and than the 8-5 Tigers of last year.
Arkansas Pine Bluff at Kansas, Troy. That's the non-con.
And there's one more. There's one more, I think. Oh no, that's the 3 because it's down to 3 this year.
Yeah. Oh God. At Mississippi State, Florida, A&M, at Ole Miss, at Arkansas, Texas, at Georgia, Kentucky versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma, Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, A&M.
They didn't get the break this year. I thought they had the break with the schedule last year. They didn't get that this year. That's a pretty rugged schedule.
I mean, where are you going on over or under 6.5?
Man. May come down to the KU game. I think they beat Kansas. So I think I'd go over, but just.
Boy, if they don't beat Kansas, he better be a little quieter. Like, he has to beat Kansas. I think
this is a Kansas team that's being picked pretty low in the Big 12.
That's right. And now they may prove to be better, but when they play them, the opinion of Kansas is that they're not very good in a league that's far inferior to yours.
Yeah.
So, like, if you go lose at Kansas,
that'd be a tough one. That'd be
that's going to be a tough one to go sell to your fan base.
Yep. And that'll drain the enthusiasm going into SEC play too.
I mean, the Florida game is giant.
Yes,
because they're also at 7.5 wins.
And Missouri seems to match up well against, for whatever reason, they've matched up well against Florida. But you listed all the other like playoff type teams: Texas, Georgia. Did you say Bama?
No Bama. They've got Texas A&M, Ole Miss. Like in a stretch. Like
those are 2 playoff teams.
They come through those 3, then they go to Mississippi State. They come home to Florida. Then they've got Texas A&M at Ole Miss, bye week at Arkansas, so that's a chance to gear up. But then all in succession, or 3 out of 4. They go Texas, at Georgia, home for Kentucky, home for Oklahoma.
That's correct. I don't have the playoff grid from last year in front of you, but aren't those the 5 SEC playoff teams?
OU was there, Georgia was there, Texas was there,
A&M,
Ole Miss was definitely there,
and A&M lost to Miami at home. That's a gauntlet. I didn't realize that. I guess I saw it at the end of last year, but I guess I'm not thinking about this until now. That is a tough schedule.
Let's see, where's Ole Miss?
They didn't get a break.
They alphabetize Ole Miss by Ole, not Miss. 8.5 this year for Ole Miss.
They got the quarter. They got Chambliss back, right?
8.5 for A&M. Yeah, I'm just looking to see if one of these teams is like they've looked at it and gone, you know what? They're not that good. Well, I said Florida's 7.5. OU 7.5 for Oklahoma.
And is that here or Columbia or Norman?
and Georgia's 9.5. That one, Oklahoma is in Columbia.
Okay.
So,
all right.
yeah, the home games, they got to go to Georgia, to Ole Miss. They get A&M, Texas, and Oklahoma in Columbia.
Oh, what a nice little
schedule.
Good,
hope you got your season tickets. I hope they perform. We'll take a break. More with Blair Kirchhoff next.
The program with Soren Petro.
It helps bring your carefully curated grab ass to me on a daily basis.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, let me ask you a question. Do you have your dream outdoor living space? Listen, went to a party yesterday, as a matter of fact. Folks had a great outdoor living space. It was a lot of fun. Got to hang out outside. All Weather Decks can build you a great outdoor living space. If you want a great place for people to hang out, the rain came. It's perfect to have the dry underdecking. That's one of the things we did at ours. Got the deck, and when you're underneath it, you're nice and dry. So when it rains, we get a thunderstorm, like we had a big downpour the other day. I went outside, sat outside. I love it. I love sitting back, maybe with a, Modelo Oro and just enjoying the rain coming down. All Weather Decks built that dream outdoor living space for us, and they can do it for you as well. Schedule a free consultation today. Call 913-206-1974 or go online to allweatherdecks.net. You can see photos of finished projects, see all the awards they've won, 24-time winner, the Angie Super Service Award, A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They get the Best of Houses Award as well. Tons and tons of awards. 15-plus years, locally owned and operated, All Weather Decks builds the best outdoor living spaces, and they do it anywhere in the metro. You can also go to allweatherdecks.net and check out the map link. You can see where the pins have been dropped. Hundreds, if not thousands of jobs done all over the metro and beyond. So listen, you've heard us talk about it here. Having a great outdoor living space increases the usable square footage of your home and increases the value of your home. So what are you waiting for? They're only 6 or 7 weeks away from starting your project. Go to allweatherdecks.net or call 913-206-1974. Tell them Petro sent you. Tell them you heard it right here on 810. It's All Weather Decks online at allweatherdecks.net and relax.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Brian Pringle with Victory Ford at the Legends in KCK. 10 years ago, we opened Victory Ford with one goal, to earn your business the right way. We believe that if we treated people with honesty, respect, and gave them a great experience every single time, Kansas City would notice. And you did. Because of loyal customers like you, Victory Ford has become one of the fastest growing Ford dealerships in the region. You've trusted us with your family's vehicle purchases, your service needs, and you've told your friends and neighbors about us. We can't thank you enough. Now we're taking the next big step. We've expanded by purchasing the building directly across the street and moved our entire used vehicle operation into its own dedicated location. That means a bigger selection of quality pre-owned vehicles, even more new Ford inventory at our main store, and an even better shopping experience for everyone who walks through our doors. This growth isn't because of flashy gimmicks or high-pressure sales. It's because Kansas City believed in us, and we work every day to earn that trust all over again. From our entire Victory Ford family, thank you. Visit us today at the Legends in KCK or victoryfordkc.com, where our first price is better than their last.
Ready! Don't wait until the hottest day of summer to find out your system can't keep up. Trust Ready Services for cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning solutions since 1957. Home of the no-fee emergency. Call now and stay comfortable all season. Ready, sir.
Talking to Blair Kirchhoff here in the program. Talking a little SEC Media Days. Do they get back and win the championship this year? I mean, is it a chip on their shoulder type of year for that league? Or
maybe if the Big Ten starts beating each other up. I looked it up, but we were talking about Missouri's schedule a second ago. I think the SEC had 6 teams in the playoff last year because Missouri played those 5 that are on their schedule, plus Alabama was in it. So they had half the field.
Alabama lost to OU.
Yeah. So and no, they beat OU in Norman, then lost. Then
Got
Indiana
hammered.
killed them in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
So they had half the field, but all signs point to either Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana being back up there. And how do you? I'm really curious about Penn State with our Iowa State coach there. Yes,
stealing our coach.
He's our coach.
I am kind of like, as long as they keep talking about breaking away and like they're so great, I'm rooting for anybody but them.
Right. They make it easy, don't they?
Yeah, they make Miami lovable. Some people you either love or hate Notre Dame. They make them lovable for those who hate Notre Dame. Like anybody but the SEC.
Those are 2. You can just name 2 schools at Miami and Notre Dame that are going to be, I think, big factors this year in college football.
Notre
Dame might be the best team maybe the best team in the country.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if BYU can join the fray. I think they're the best hope for joining the fray with Texas Tech. They're trying to get a second school in, but I really don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna get one.
Yeah,
I think the
so
ACC is gonna get Miami, and that's gonna be it.
It could be. The Big Ten and the SEC are so big and powerful. It could give so much NIL money to their players. The gap is getting bigger.
By the way, did you see Dabo Swinney was still talking crap after a 7-win season?
Yes, I did.
Like, at what point do you go, maybe this isn't working?
This guy is resting on his laurels.
Yeah.
He's absolutely resting on his laurels.
Blair, enjoy your vacation. We'll talk to you when you get back.
Sounds good.
The great Blair Kirchhoff. We'll take a break. You're in the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, how many players this century, age 22 or younger, have recorded a 20-game hitting streak? Brought to you by LaFetta.
Locally owned, veteran owned, that is Unlimited RV, nationally one of the top 50 RV dealers in the country over the last 3 years. Kansas City's #1 selling RV dealership, Missouri's #2 RV dealership. It's Unlimited RV. Find them online at unlimitedrv.com. You want to get on the road? You want to see the country? Get over to Unlimited RV. They can help you out. They 4.7 star Google reviews. That's on 900 plus reviews, plus lifetime warranty on all new campers, even extending that lifetime warranty on all used campers that are 2 years old or newer. It's at Unlimited RV. Go find out for yourself why they're Kansas City's best. Find them online at unlimitedrv.com. Let's start things off in Seattle, Washington. Softy Mahler, KJR in Seattle is up first. Softy, how are you, brother?
I'm good. I just know this. If I'm ever in the Kansas City area and I have a need for a recreational vehicle, it's Unlimited RV.
That's right.
Find out more, unlimitedrv.com.
There you go. I like it. I appreciate it. They like it.
By the way, how many guests do you have on that actually repeat your sponsors for you on the air besides me?
You know what? It's
what I do.
You and probably Chris Domino in Atlanta, who's coming up right after you.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
We'll find out. But that's it. Select company, my friend.
Yeah, unlimitedrv.com is your first choice for RVs in the Kansas City area.
There you go. I like it. All right, let me ask you a question. The grass that was put down for the World Cup, the players want it there all the time. Are they going to get it with this new ownership?
Absolutely not, and I think it's ridiculous that these players are bitching and moaning about it. First of all, I think it was Julian Love said something the other day, and then I saw Shelby Harris, who's no longer with the Seahawks, said something, this whole hashtag we're worth it. You may have seen that circulating around social media with the grass. Okay, guys, let's use our brains for a second here. It's July, okay? There's a reason why you can have grass in Seattle and grass around every NFL stadium, because there's hardly any rain and there's no freaking snow. It's 85 degrees outside. It's beautiful. Nobody's worried about drainage. Nobody's worried about the whole, field turning into a giant mud ball. Get out of here. It's going to be totally different in November, December, and January. So if you can guarantee me that the weather is going to be 85 degrees in January and December, like it was for that USA-Belgium game in Seattle a week and a half ago, I'd say go for it. But it's a totally different animal when the weather turns in Seattle in late fall and early winter. So, no, they're not going to natural grass. It's ridiculous.
Was the World Cup considered a giant success in Seattle the way it was considered a giant success here in Kansas City?
Yeah, I think it was considered a giant success everywhere, right? For the most part. I don't know of any cities in America that hosted the World Cup that said that was a mistake to do that. I know there are some cities that would have liked to have bid on it or were going to bid on it and passed on it that are now regretting it. But yeah, it was a huge success here in Seattle. I'm literally, Soren, as I'm talking to you, I'm standing between Lumen Field and T-Mobile Park right now at a hotel, the Silver Cloud Hotel. The bottom of the hotel, there's a bar called Jimmy's on First. We do our radio show here today, and we're here all the time. When I was talking to KJ, who's the general manager at Silver Cloud, he said it was a major boon for them business-wise, but it was all last second, right? Like, everybody jumped on the USA train, the American train, when they beat Australia before they took on Belgium in the round of 16. So they ended up selling out, made a bunch of money. Everybody around here was happy, but now we get to find out if Seattle can still do all that without all those eyes on them, right? Are the homeless people coming back? Are the drug addicts coming back? Is the crime coming back? The mayor has already turned off all the super secret security cameras in Pioneer Square, which was a big part of her campaign. So I'm just really curious, not that you guys give a damn, but I'm curious to see how our city bounces back when nobody's paying attention.
Yeah, agreed. We've had a great run of it, and it'll be interesting to see when everything goes back to normal, how it's going to look. Tell me, on the Seahawks side, like what is the plan for the new ownership? Do they have, are they going to spend? Is there any big talk from them on how things are going to be different?
Yeah. No, they haven't said anything. I mean, Kostla, the owner, has actually referred everybody to his Wikipedia page, to be totally honest with you. I mean, I guess that's buying an NFL football team in 2026, right? You want to know more about me? Go visit my Wikipedia page. And that's the only thing that we've heard from the guy. His son, Neil, did follow me on Twitter. Okay, so there's maybe a little bit of a clue. I don't know. Maybe they're curious to know what the Seattle sports media thinks of the transaction. Our buddy Mike Florio did have a report today that said that one of the things that was appealing to Jody Allen about selling the Seahawks to the Kusla family is that he has said that his wife is going to be the controlling owner. She's going to be the new Jody Allen. She's going to be the Georgia Frontiere of the Seahawks. And, you know, how will she do? Seren, dude, I got no idea, man. I don't think anybody has any clue on this. I think a lot of people think they have a clue. A lot of people want to think they know what's going on. But these guys in this family, they've never been the majority owners of a professional sports team ever. We have nothing to base this on. We have nothing to, compare this whole thing to. We have no idea how much or how little they're going to meddle, So time will tell. I think we have to let them prove to us what they are or what they are not. But I will also just say this, that I think that duplicating and recreating what the Allen family did for 30 years is going to be difficult, right? This is a ownership group that went to 4 Super Bowls, won 2 championships, is maybe one of the premier franchises in the NFL during that time span, and now somebody else has taken over. So I think it's going to be awfully hard to recreate that success. Awfully hard.
Let me ask you a question. Sam Darnold, honorable mention on the ESPN quarterback rankings where Jeremy Fowler sends it out to personnel people. Is that fair for where he belongs?
Yeah, I think the problem with guys like Sam Darnold, Seren, is for teams that really have a kick-ass defense, the quarterback never seems to get much credit, right? They always give it to the defense. If you've got a great defense, then what do you need a great quarterback for? I mean, look, the numbers weren't spectacular. They didn't jump off the page to anybody. He wasn't blowing up the box score every single Sunday. But, when the defense faltered, like they did against the Rams on that crucial Thursday night game, and like they kind of did, to be honest with you, against the Rams in the NFC Championship when they gave up 27, which for them is a lot, Sam Darnold was there. He was there to pick up the slack in both of those games. They don't play in the Super Bowl without Sam Darnold. So honorable mention, yeah. I mean, I'm fine with that. Look, the guy's going to be playing for a brand new contract this year. He's got 2 more years left in his deal. They'll likely want to renegotiate that over the summer, next year, over the offseason. Next season, April, May of 2027. So he's playing for a new deal, but I think he's the perfect fit for this football team. He's the absolute veteran leader that you need when things are going to hell in a hand bucket. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And when he does make mistakes, by the way, he makes them in bunches. I know a lot of people like to point to his interception total from last year, but like 60%, 70% of those came over an 8-quarter stretch between Arizona and the Rams in back-to-back games. If you take out both of those games, he was phenomenal, consistently hanging onto the ball the entire year. He just had a bit of a hiccup for 2 weeks.
All right, tell me, the Mariners, right at 500 right now, do they make some kind of big move between now and the deadline?
What they need is they need the guys that are here now to step up and start playing better, including Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh's OPS since he came off the IL is under 600. That's not good enough, man. His numbers are way down from where they were a year ago. He's not even a factor right now offensively. He's pretty much a zero at the plate, which is incredible to think about where the guy was a year ago, going from 60 home runs last year, and now since he's come off the IL, he's got 5 extra base hits in his last 110 plate appearances. That is shocking. The fall for Cal Raleigh is unbelievable, but it's not just him. It's Josh Naylor. It's Julio Rodriguez. J.P. Crawford all of a sudden is not having the great year we thought he was going to have. Luke Raley has kind of fallen apart. So no matter what they do at the deadline, they need the guys here that are here now to start playing better, because it's not going to matter. Last year they went out and they got Naylor and they got Suarez from the Diamondbacks, but they added them to a group that included Cal Raleigh on his way to 60 home runs, and Julio Rodriguez having a better year last year than he is now. So they don't just need moves at the deadline. They need moves at the deadline and the players that are here now to start playing better.
Has there been any explanation for what's happened to Cal Raleigh?
He's just obviously distracted by something, or B, the pitchers are just approaching him totally differently than the way they approached him a year ago. Look, man, the guy's a one-trick pony. I have no problem saying that. I said that last year, this conversation between Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge, who should win the MVP. I thought it was Judge all day. He's a much more well-rounded hitter than Cal Raleigh is. If you take away home runs and strikeouts and just look at Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh batting average on balls in play, Aaron Judge was like 100 points higher than Cal Raleigh. He's a one-trick pony who's not performing his trick. and that trick is to hit home runs, man. So, maybe it was the WBC that got to him. Maybe it was the spat with Randy Arozarena that got to him. Maybe it's something personal with a girlfriend or whatever. I have no idea what's going on with Cal Raleigh, but right now, dude, he is an absolute shell of the player he was a year ago.
Softy Mahler in Seattle. Great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great week, my friend.
Now, you bet. And don't forget, anytime you're in Kansas City, unlimitedrv.com.
From Softy to Domino. What a day. What a great Monday it is. Chris Domino, 680 The Fan in Atlanta, Georgia is next. Chris, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Let me know if there's anybody that I have to give the plug to at the end, because Lord knows I'm willing to do it.
Okay. You can throw a shout out to Unlimited RV. Yep, they're bringing you this fine segment we like to call the 2-minute drill here today. Let's start with the Atlanta Falcons staying in the Kyle Pitts business. 3 years, $54 million. It's one thing when you're on the rookie contract. It's another thing when you're making top dollars. Is this a smart investment?
So I am maybe not the right one to ask, because I was sort of really down on him because I thought he was a little bit of a Jake. I'm not telling you he wasn't hurt or injured or whatever the hell the word is I'm supposed to use, but he looked disinterested at times. Now, I will say the criminals, the ones who were basically on the practice field every day, and the coaching staff with him and others over the last couple of years, they're gone. So walk-through Wednesdays, Rudy Tooty Thursdays, let's have fun Fridays. Those are gone with them. Maybe he's going to get re-engaged. I don't know who the quarterback is going to be, although I do think it's going to be two out of the gate. Maybe he actually runs routes. Maybe he doesn't tap the helmet. Maybe he's actually going to go a little bit harder at times. Maybe the idea of the money in his pocket is actually going to be something now where he's working on, I hate the word, his reputation or legacy, now that he's comfortable that he got the money. I didn't necessarily see it. I certainly know what a physical specimen he is, but I have thought it's been a hell of a lot more of bust around here than actually having a player that was a game changer. Jury's still out. I wouldn't have done it. I would have made him sing for his supper this year, but at the end of the day, it's their money, and they're going to have money available at the end of the year. So I don't think it's a crunch when it comes to salary. There's no cap hell because they did a deal with him. Let's find out if he really wants to play football.
With training camps opening at the end of this week, where are the expectations for the Falcons this year?
The division. Who's taking a step back? No Mike Evans down in Tampa. Is Shuck really the guy in New Orleans, or is this one of those one-hit pops? Do we have something on him that maybe we're going to slow him down a little bit? In Carolina, I don't know if Bryce Young's a long-term answer, but I do know they went to the postseason, so they get to sort of wave their banner around and go, look, we're better than you, and it's not inaccurate. I do think that if we do have adults in the room on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, if we have a game plan where a red flag is not on the ground for no reason, if your head coach is not looking up at the big board, totally enthralled by the size of it, as opposed to maybe coaching a football game, all you got to do is find 2 wins, man. You just got to find 2 wins. It's not a lot in this division. And I would like to think, again, getting away from what seemed to be the players' coach mentality of, let's not work them very hard. There was a general malaise around this team, and I thought it showed up on a lot of Sundays. And when you win a big game and you go, why can't you do that more often? I think because, quite honestly, during the week, you're not as prepared as you're supposed to be. Let's see if with Stefanski and this crew, that goes out the window.
Okay. All right. We'll see where it goes. How about SEC Media Days? And one of the things that's really, popping today is talking about leaving, doing our own thing. Do we even know what the hell that looks like? What is that the SEC is threatening to do?
It's funny. I've asked every college guy, national guy we've had on for the llast 3 years, when's it going to happen? When are we going to have 36, 42, or 48 teams that are just going to secede from the union? I believe it's going to happen for years, and it's certainly the SEC and the Big Ten. Now, Pat Narduzzi, he went on our airways last week and basically said the ACC is the best conference because we have athletes you guys don't know about. And I started laughing. And I go, if you look at your championship game, Virginia and Duke, you would not be invited to the big dance, like the party of 36, 42, or 48 teams. So I thought Narduzzi it was ACC Media Day, and I think he started to smell himself a little bit. I am going to be more shocked if there's not a breakaway. If there's not and by the way, you know this and I know this. There are schools that really can't compete that are trying to keep up with the Joneses. Oh, we have a jet. Yeah, you don't have any money for fuel. We have a house. We have no furniture. Quietly, there would be 80 schools that would high-five getting out of the high-end football business because they have no right being in it, but they have to chase, let's just call it, they have to chase that dragon. And there are a lot of schools that will never say it out loud. They'd be so much happier if they didn't have to play that game financially and they had a chance to win a real trophy. I thought it was a benefit for everybody if and when it happens. The only thing I would do, You tell me. I know the NFL doesn't like giving up money, but the NFL has gotten away with murder when it comes to a minor league system where they haven't paid $1.
Agreed.
If I do this, I'm going to every NFL team, and you're going to kick in 15 or 20 million, and you're going to help pay for these players. NIL, pay-for-play, salary cap in college football, which I do hope comes because I want good old-fashioned cheating. Remember, it used to be the $100 handshake. Let's make it the $500,000 handshake. Let's cheat again. Come on, let's make America cheating again. College football is a place that I know could happen outside of D.C., so let's all live in this world. But I'm going to the NFL and saying, you guys are kicking in money. You've gotten away with it forever. And if there's one league that is absolutely your bigger farm system than all the other schools combined, you're going to pay some of the freight. I'd love to be in the room when that was suggested to Commissioner Kickass and everybody else around him. But I would do it. If I'm breaking away, I've got a couple of things that I'm going to do on top of that. One of them is going after the NFL's money.
Is there any fear that it's been a few years since they've won a championship? How important is it to get back to one of their schools winning the title this year?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal. You know, look, at the end of the day, Greg Sankey, I just think he's talking a little bit too much for me. And I think the idea of, now you're on the defensive a little bit. I think what's really happened in this conference is you said if we went to 9 conference games, there would be an expansion to 12. And boy, are people saying it more out loud than I thought they would. And I'm not saying it was a bill of goods, but they agreed to that before college football playoff expansion, which was a terrible move on all their parts. They're all saying now we have to play 9 in that conference. They're not as good as us and everything else. I didn't do the deal. You did the deal. And if it didn't go bigger than 12, whose fault is that? I think in the SEC, those are the types of things you never heard about. I think it was anytime, any place, anywhere. Let's go. Line them up. We'll knock you down. We got a week off. Who cares? We don't have a week off. Who cares? I think once you start to hear people sort of go into the back pocket to tell you about their past, I hear this with coaches. When coaches walk to the podium and they have all their numbers coming out of their back pocket, you rehearse that. That's a sign to me that says that you had to come in loaded in a way that you didn't have to come in. You used to just be able to say, we're the SEC. Go ahead. Give me your questions. Now it feels like there's sort of defense of how good the conference is compared to everybody else. When you don't win a title for 3 years, that's the type of stuff that happens around here.
Yeah, the whining about playing the 9th conference game. I'm just like, come on. I mean,
it's incredible.
It's enough. Let's move forward.
And let me ask you, were you in the room when you said yes to it? I wasn't in the room. Were you?
No.
Me neither.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
Yeah. No, it's whining. That's what it is. I mean, that's the best way to put it. Let's talk about the Atlanta Braves, 57-41, first in the NL East. Where are they looking as we creep ever closer to the trade deadline?
Well, for 6 weeks, they were as bad as anybody in baseball. I was just actually across the street now getting ready to do our pregame show. And they were bad. And look, nobody was trying to hide the fact that they were bad. When you have the second worst record, maybe since June 1st, and it's a 6-week period, you are what you are. And there were a lot of problems. It was starting pitching innings. It was the offense that went away. There were a lot of things. And whether you believe the Parcells, you are what your record says you are, there are things in baseball. If you're not beating the guy with a 5.6 ERA, you're not beating the guy with a 6.2 ERA. I understand they're their own separate entity, but if you're the best team in baseball for 2 months, you can't go 6 weeks without. And it was a struggle around here. Maybe Austin Riley's woken up. Drake Baldwin was really bad once he came back, but he certainly had a good weekend, and he was good leading up. There are parts and pieces that you should not have the second worst record for 5 or 6 weeks. But the reality was they did. They're fine. I just think the trade deadline is a little bit different around here because supply and demand is just going to be incredible. Everybody that you thought you might look at their lineup and go, oh, I'll take that guy and maybe I'll have an interest in that guy, they could end up trying to buy the same guy that you want. Like the competition, it's sort of the flea market thing, right? How many items are on the table and who gets there at 8 o'clock in the morning and you show up at 10 and you go, where the hell is everything? And then you have to, if the garage is open, and I've used, like, if you see a pressure washer and it's in the garage, you go, how much for the pressure washer? It's not for sale. It certainly is if I give you the right number. I think there might be a little bit of that going on. You might actually see a deal or two where you go, that guy wasn't really for sale, but somebody went to, let's call it an overpay. It's the eBay factor. I think we've talked about it. You go to eBay for 7 days, you can bid on something, but they have a buy it now price. It's $38 on a bid, but $72, you can have it today. I think there might be a couple of guys that maybe get pried away from teams because the price was so good, even the general manager is going to say, I could not pass this one up.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see where it goes. How about the Hawks wheeling and dealing, moving around Risa Shea? I mean, where, like, it's been a total retooling for the Hawks. Do we like what all they've done collectively?
Yeah, I would. They get a guy, and I work with such idiots. The Dortcher Chamber Guys are trying to come up. The guy hasn't been in town. He hasn't had a press conference, and I got to hear about a 6'4", 220-pound guy, and they're trying to give him a nickname. Because, again, I think everybody thinks he's an enforcer more than he's an offensive threat, which is fine. He's a really good defensive player based upon the metrics that I was reading. I don't know that as a fact. I'm just reading, and I hope the people who are writing it are right. But it will also tell you that defensively, if we think we have somebody on the perimeter that's literally going to be in on somebody, or we think there's a guy going down the lane and he goes by you and he might actually fight to go back and make a play defensively. It's been a while since we had one of those around here, so I do think that part is good. I just always say this. I live in a town where if it reads too good to be true, my God, maybe it's too good to be true. Ricochet all of a sudden at 22 becomes a different guy. I don't know if that's going to happen. I wouldn't bet on it. But in the back of my mind, when everybody's telling me how great this is, we've talked about it. Dolly Parton's the only thing that's 100%. If you're telling me that everybody's on one side of a deal, I go, there's something wrong. I said, have we done the 10 fingers, 10 toes in this guy? Did we really get a guy who was physically able to go to his press conference? And it sort of feels like the dog that's been hit with the newspaper enough. But that's the first thing I thought is everybody's telling me how great this is. And I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah.
I hate myself for that, but I did have an oh, boy. It might have even fallen out of my mouth. Like, I don't even think I oh, boyed in my head. I think that actually was an audible.
Yeah. No, I think it's a talented guy. You moved away, but I also do think it's the kind of pieces you get. Those Nemhard and Dort are guys that do the dirty work, and you need some of those guys. So I don't want to do the hockey goon thing, but I will tell you this: Ricochet could not get into playoff games at all. He played 3.5 minutes, and they said, "Well, we've seen enough," and he didn't play the rest of the series. So I wasn't expecting him to be good, but again, the audible part of me that came out was, "Oh boy." Is at 22 years old, is anything going to go off in terms of light in this guy, and he's actually going to be a viable player. He didn't do it here, but I just thought maybe it's a little bit too good to be true that he won't ever. Yeah, we'll find out. Chris Domino in Atlanta. We appreciate it. Great stuff as always, my friend. Have yourself a great week.
Well, do not forget, man, there's only one RV place that I know of that I go to in the Kansas City area.
Unlimited RV.
I'm the train they call the city of New Orleans.
There's a theme there. I feel like I cut Chris off there a little bit. I feel bad. Text Chris and tell him I'm sorry. I didn't know if he had more coming, but I thought he was struggling, so I thought I'd help him out. We go to New Orleans, Louisiana. Gus Cattingill, Pelicans Radio. Gus, how are you, sir?
Doing well, man. I always love following Chris, especially when Atlanta is talking about whining. It just makes my day.
Yes,
really,
yes.
honestly does.
Yeah, Falcons, Saints,
Football season's coming. We're ready.
That's
I'm
right.
ready for
That's
the
right.
Falcons. Let's go.
Yeah, get the blood boiling here. Let's start there. What are the expectations for the Saints now that the season is upon us?
It's funny because obviously I'm in the building that's shared by the Saints and Pelicans, and neither team went to the playoffs last year, obviously, and yet there couldn't be two more distinct feelings in the building about said teams. For a football team that won 5 games, there is excitement. There is hope. There is belief. And I could probably make some arguments. Man, I could give them a fighting chance in that division, to be honest with you. Then, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit with the Pels. It's just a little different, right? As we still waiting on moves there, bud.
Right.
But no, I mean, when it comes to the Saints, what the expectation levels are, I think from 2 years ago, where you get rid of Dennis Allen midseason, Rizzy comes in, tries to get him to be scrappy, and then in comes Kellen Moore, and even he said at the end of last year and starting this year with OTAs at minicamp, he grew. And he learned to be a better head coach as the season went. And I think it was reflective, to be honest with you. And in the Fridays that I met you or we talked during the season last year, they played better football. But look, let's be honest, right? It all comes down to quarterback. And I think once this franchise found that Tyler Shuck is a starting quarterback in the NFL, I didn't say good, I didn't say Pro Bowl, I didn't say championship level, but he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. You didn't have that. I still to this day, man, I think it needs to be studied. I'm not smart enough, maybe Harvard kids or something, man. That Derek Carr and here, I mean, he still takes strays on social media, on posts that have nothing to do with him. And it's so opposite from Tyler Shuck. The games he finished with last season, the game at Tampa, Carolina, that touchdown run, again, for a team that won 5 games, people feel they can make the playoffs this year, which is pretty remarkable because there isn't a jersey seller on defense. No DeMario Davis. I know Cam Jordan came back here late in his last year. Likely spot-up player there. And I know they have Chase Young, but I'm just being honest. I have a 9-year-old. If he asked me, Dad, give me a Saints jersey, but I want it to be a defensive player, I don't know who I would pick. And that's not being disrespectful, but you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that jersey seller's that guy on 3rd and something. The Falcons have the ball. Who's going to make the play for the Saints defense? Who's going to get them off the field? Who's going to get the turnover? Who's going to get the strip fumble? Who's that guy? I don't know if they have one. So I can't say you're a contender in the NFC. I can say because of your quarterback, though, and some of the additions on offense, shoring up that offensive line, I think you can compete. You were darn near close last year in that division. So why not?
What is the plan at running back? Because they signed Travis Etienne and then they reworked the deal of Alvin Kamara. I mean, usually the 1-2 punch are not two backs that are kind of similar the way these two guys are.
All right, so first presser, it's Etienne, apparently. So that's what we're going with. I grew up with Etienne, and it's Etienne. Etienne, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how he says he pronounces it here in New Orleans, but he never corrected people outside of the area. But it's Etienne, I guess. So he is the premier running back. He is RB1. What I thought was interesting was that first OTA week of Alvin Kamara showing up for that one time and that only time. That was to make a point, right? I mean, I think we can see that now. It's like, I don't want to go anywhere. And, you know, it's interesting, man, in this day and age, where you have players with I say this day and age, as long as we've covered sports, I want to win, guys, right? I need to go somewhere where, you know, it's better for my talents, for financial and all those different aspects. Alvin Kamara's been absolutely different. He's said it. I just think we never wanted to believe it. He says he doesn't want to play for another organization. He doesn't want to play another team. Doesn't want to be traded. He wants to be here. And he says, as long as I'm under contract, I'm showing up. And that's how he approached the offseason. That's how he approached last year. And that's how he approached showing up that one day and you know, for OTAs where he showed up and kind of surprised everybody and then he went away. And now they have a deal that's more cap friendly. I think he knows that he's part of the running back room, not the star. And look, I think when you look at his numbers and the stats and the narrative around him, it's so hard because I still think that guy can play a little bit and can give you something. He has played behind some awful offensive line, no wide receiving core, poor tight end play, poor quarterback play, poor offensive coordinating and coaching since Drew Brees and Sean Payton left. So I do think the demise talk, the washed up that this guy is no better than the Subway sandwich artist, that's no offense to them, but I think that's a little over. I mean, I'm not saying this guy is where he was back in the day, you know, when he won Rookie of the Year, but I don't think by any means he's a bum. I could be wrong. But, yeah, he's part of that room. But Travis Etienne is the RB1 of this team.
Is Zion Williamson, these photos we're seeing of him all ripped up and everything, are we going to finally see a full season and see his full talents on display, or should the should the Pelicans be looking at this photo and selling that to everybody out there and trying to trade him as fast as they can before he's inevitably hurt yet again?
Hey, look, man, those photos from a couple of years ago, the Saints probably could have used them at tight end, right?
Yeah.
So let's just be honest. You know what I've said all summer, and I go back to April, the Monday when the season ended, all I can go by is what a player says, comma, then what are his actions, right? We've heard players say lots of things. What are you saying? And what we've seen since April is you go back to that Monday, the season-ending presser, and he wasn't the Zion, where he chuckles and laughs, man, I want to win, and hey, I got to get better, chuckle. That wasn't him at all. I don't think he laughed once. Not even that nervous laugh, or it was point. And what I mean by that is, I sat there and talked to Joe Dumars. What do I need to do my game? Where do I need to go? This is what I need to do. I need to be in the playoffs. I'm done not being a play. Like, he's, you know, to the point where when he walked out, we were all like, that sounds great. Finally. Love to have heard it 7 years ago, but at least you're hearing it. Now you got to go do it. And what we've seen since then is multiple social media videos by his trainer, Chris Crisp, posting third session today, and it's a night post. So apparently he's been there 3 times. I can tell you he's been at that facility all summer. He's worked out all summer. He's worked out with players. And I think the best thing for Pels fans, because all we can go on is hope, is game 1 of Summer League when they do the panning, and we took photos as a team of everybody but Trey Murphy was in attendance. And then you saw photos of him working out in the heat in some football field and doing drills. And I've never seen that. Like in the day, since Zion Williamson's joined the Pelicans, I have never seen a team photo of the entire roster. DeJounte Murray, Herb Jones, all the rookies and Fears and Queen, you know, Zion. I've seen Zion show up like a day and, you know, maybe 2 or 3 players, but not the team. So I would say yes, man. I think you are going to see the best version of Zion that we have seen, because I think he's healthier, he's more in shape, he's working on his game. I think he's going to have a better team to start the season. DeJounte Murray starting in October rather than February is going to make a difference on this team. I think they all love and respect Jamal Mosley as a man and as a basketball player and his philosophy. And quite honestly, he's 2 years away from a new deal, right? I mean, I think he's going into his last year. The year after that's a player option or team option. So, look, when money's on the table, same thing with Trey Murphy. It's put up or shut up time for those 2 players in particular. You know, there's a lot of talk about Trey. Lots of teams would love Trey. He's a good commodity. These guys need to do it now. This is the year. You know, at some point, you're going to start asking me about other players in the Pelicans and not Zion.
Great stuff as always. Gus Kattengill in New Orleans, Louisiana. We appreciate it, my friend. Have yourself a great week.
You too, man. Thank you.
All right, our La Feta Delicatessen end of the hour answer. How many players this century, age 22 or younger, have recorded a 20-game hitting streak?
What age?
22 or younger.
Well, Carter Jensen.
There's one.
This century, you said, right?
That's right.
I'll say 3.
It is actually 4, Jensen being one of them. 2005, Jose Reyes. 2011, Freddie Freeman. And last year, Jackson Churio.
Oh, okay. Pretty good company there.
Yeah, it is.
Jose Reyes was tremendous when he had springy legs, and he got old fast, but pretty good company there for Carter Jensen. La Feta, always a great choice for you. Head over to lafetadeli.com. You can put in your order if you want some catering done. They're happy to do it. Got a new location coming this fall to Prairie Village. It's La Feta Italian Delicatessen. Their charcuterie boards, their incredible rockin' lineup of sandwiches. They are absolutely to die for. Go see what everyone's talking about. Voted the number 2 new restaurant in Kansas City. La Feta Italian Delicatessen, 143rd and Metcalf, right there on the southeast corner of 143rd and Metcalf. Our thanks to all the guys on the 2-minute drill. Let's talk a little bit more about SEC Media Days going on. Let's hear from the commissioner, Greg Sankey, as he was talking. Let's start with the 9-game conference schedule. Sankey says it'll be difficult to navigate a 9-game SEC schedule, but it'll be worth it.
We, and I recognize that a 9-game Southeastern Conference football schedule, coupled with our expectation that we maintain a high-quality non-conference opponent, creates one of the most, in fact, I'm going to scratch what I wrote, it creates, without question, the most demanding sets of football schedules in all of college football. But these decisions were made after years of thoughtful discussion, careful analysis, and spirited debate, which led us to the conclusion that the 9-game schedule was appropriate. And the 9-game schedule reflects confidence in our universities, our student athletes, and in our football programs. It preserves great rivalries, historic rivalries, many of which are played every year. It creates more compelling conference matchups and reinforces our long-standing commitment competitive excellence.
Listen, that's what everybody wants to hear, isn't it? I mean, yeah, bring them on. We can play them. We're ready for it. As opposed to whining about, oh my God, we've got to play a 9th game. We got to do what everybody else does in their league. Oh my God. I mean, at least the commissioner doesn't sound like a buffoon.
I really like the. In fact, I'm going to scratch out what I wrote, and I'm going to say this instead. I got to start using that.
Yeah. Not that was exactly what he wrote, by the way. Oh, make a note, did you? No, I'm going to go all the way. The most challenging. Okay, Greg. All right. How about conference title games? That's been a big topic of discussion. Are they going to go away as the playoffs expand? Sankey says they're still trying to figure out the future of the SEC championship game.
I think even the move to 12 has created pressure around championship games. And we've talked through the factors that support the pro list, and we've talked about some of the con list, if you will, the negatives that need to be considered. And we have some time. We will have a conference championship game the first Saturday in December of 2026. We have contracts and plans in place well beyond that, but we have time for consideration. And one of the factors for us is what will happen with that college football playoff.
Okay. I don't know why you'd need to do away with the conference championship game. I mean, does your conference championship mean something or not? Like, are you just going to award it like based upon some tiebreakers and things like that? Why wouldn't you have a conference game? I still don't understand why they don't have divisions and then a conference championship game, because I would think you would want to be called SEC champions. What's the purpose of being in the SEC then?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is there a factor to this? Blair said they had like 6 teams in the playoff last year. Is that a factor, that there's just too many teams that could be in the game?
I mean, they're going to get extra teams in the playoffs either way. It seems to me that like the 2 teams that make it into your conference championship games are automatics, and whoever wins that conference championship game, I mean, whoever loses it, I don't think is going to get dinged much. Whoever wins it is definitely going to get another huge win on their resume, and it seems like it would set you up for a better seed.
Yeah, it can only provide a boost.
I don't understand the that why expanding the playoffs means, well, you got to get all the games in. Fine, stop taking 4 weeks off before it. Play ball like every other league does. This whole idea that, we got to shut down college football for a month while we watch Toledo take on, Idaho State each night while we wait for the big boys to come. No, especially if you're the SEC, throw that weight around and be like, look, we know that ESPN wants to back up everything so that they can play one bowl game at a time so that they can maximize their television viewing. We're not going to do it. We're playing every week. This is it. Here's our schedule. Here's how we go. We're playing a conference championship game, and then we go right into the playoffs. It seems pretty easy to me. All right, more from Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC. He was talking about the expanding playoffs. He says expanding the playoff may be easier said than done.
We don't have any idea at this point of the clear media interest in an expanded playoff. We do have an understanding of what happened when we went to 12, and we considered other formats. So that's one. Second is the calendar is challenging. There is a line embedded in the current version of the Protect College Sports Act that the football season be fully completed by January 8th. If you think through the implications of particularly that date, remember the American Football Coaches Association introduced that idea, produced a frustrated phone call from me to Craig Bowl about the lack of consultation. But you have to find places to play the games. And you have to think about whether overlap of those games when they're played is acceptable or not. I tend to think the access point is important for young people. And as we've had conversations in smaller groups, they can answer, I'd rather have a chance than not have a chance. But there are limits on the number of games that you can play.
Where to play them? I can't believe that came out of his mouth.
Yeah, find a place.
Well, you don't even have, what Georgia's home, what is that, Between the Hedges, what the hell's the name of that? That's not Bryant-Denny, is it? Is that Auburn? Whatever the hell it is. The Georgia football stadium is occupied 1 week after the football season's over. What are you talking about? The higher seed plays the home game, dumbass. I mean, that's as easy as it gets. Where to play them. And then access points. What is access points? Where did that? I think he means get as many teams in as we can. Access, more teams getting access to the playoffs. But what a bizarre word salad that was dropped in that one. You've got plenty of places to play. Stop. Well, do we want games overlapping? Well, how many would they have? The problem is you're running into the NFL. That's what he didn't say, is that the NFL is running roughshod over us. And if we have more games, how do we get out of the way of the NFL? Because that's really what they're trying to do. So are you going to play Tuesdays and Wednesdays to stay out of the way of the NFL? And, we got to play an early and a late and an early and a late. And we're going to be starting at, 5 p. Central, 6 p. Eastern to try to get these, 2 game back-to-back games, because college football games, they've gotten better, but they still go longer than NFL games. Is that what we're worried about? I mean, I don't see any problem with playing multiple games. Have them overlap to a degree. We saw it happen with the World Cup. Right? And we see it happen with the NCAA tournament, the basketball tournament. It just means that you've got a better chance of having a good game that somebody wants to watch if you've got 2 games going on at once. That's why the NFL has switched to Monday Night Football, doing that same kind of thing. Right? So that one, I don't get where there's any kind of challenge on that front. Finally, the breaking away. Sankey was asked how real any conversations have been about the possibility of breaking away from the college structure as we know it today.
So you phrased the question of how real. So I'll take that as real or not real. So they're real. People have talked about that. They've opined about the frustrations that bring them to the point of saying we should look at something significantly different. I do not believe that is a leverage point. I think that's just honest communication. I would prefer that stay in a meeting room or on a video conference and not be part of the D1 ticker the next morning, but I don't control all of that. Eddie, what I think is important is those comments represent a high level of frustration with the circumstance in which we find ourselves. We have regulated ourselves more aggressively than other colleagues by choice across our league. We've had different academic eligibility restrictions in the past. So we've had different transfer restrictions in the past. So some of what you hear comes out of a culture that we can regulate ourselves. But the frustration that exists is when you go to a meeting 8 years ago and we want to change the volunteer coach rule in a Division I setting, and the Division I membership can't see their way through change, and so that creates risk. I think some of the transition into this 5-year eligibility model, that it happened when it did and the way it did, that magnifies frustration. We went through a college football playoff discussion for years and introduced a 12-team playoff where it just sat because colleagues couldn't move. And they had reasons, but those reasons really didn't resonate. And so understand that beneath the observation is frustration. But I also know the pride with which I spoke of 13 national championships. And there is meaning and value, and I do think a national expectation that we participate in a national organization. But that national organization must function in a healthy manner. Otherwise, that simmering will continue.
Ooh, we don't want them simmering. I'll say it again. What does it look like? What does that mean? You're just a conference on your own, or are you dragging the Big Ten? Are you talking for the Big Ten as well? A Big Ten and SEC split together, okay, I see how you can put some things together. I don't see how the SEC just does it by themselves. All right, wrapping up hour number 3 of the program. Jeff Passan coming up in hour number 4. We'll talk to our Major League Baseball insider. Some news breaking here in the last, half hour or so, 45, 50 minutes. Ryan Clark out at ESPN. So been a little bit of a controversial figure, but the reports that are out there say Ryan Clark is the first of what may be a new wave of layoffs coming from ESPN and or NFL Network, as it's now, I don't know, is it the same thing now? I mean, they're tied at the hip. There's a partial ownership or something. Anyway, Ryan Clark, which was amazing because he was just on TV on, I think they fired the poor guy coming off the set.
Right.
Because he was on the little NFL Inside NFL or NFL Inside or whatever one of the daily NFL shows on ESPN. He was on there today, and then the report comes out that he's out. Okay. Cutthroat business, huh? Let's talk to Jeff Passan. I think he's still employed by ESPN. He's next.
All right, since 2015, how many teams have more playoff wins in Dallas than the Cowboys? Brought to you by La Feta Delicatessen.
We roll on here. Fourth quarter of the program begins right now as we finish strong here on a Monday, a hot and sticky Monday, but still getting it done. Still getting it done. Jeff Passan's appearance brought to you by our friends at Joslin's Jewelry. Gary Joslin's great staff. Incredible selection. If you're in the market for an engagement ring, how about almost 1,000 engagement rings to choose from? Joslin's Jewelry, for generations, they've helped Kansas City celebrate engagements, anniversaries, birthdays, life's biggest moments. Exceptional jewelry, unmatched personal service. That's what you get at Joslin's. They're on the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch in Overland Park, online at joslinsjewelry.com. Let's welcome Jeff Passan to the program. Jeff, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Saran. How are you?
We're doing very good. The injuries continue to pile up. Now, Stephen Kolek, flexor tendon, which is usually a precursor to Tommy John, being the next words that are out there. We'll wait for that to happen to be official, but it certainly...
not always.
Okay, want to bet?
I mean, how do you think you know?
Do you want to bet
with you?
Do you want to
bet?
bet?
No, because I don't know. I don't make bets when I don't have information. But why would you want to bet when you don't know?
You make bets when you think you're going to win. That's the whole purpose of betting. You bet to win.
I think my question is, why do you think you're going to win?
Because usually when I hear this, what I hear next is Tommy John.
Okay. You know what, Saran? Just to oblige you, I will take your bet on this. What's is this the Tommy John needs to be announced within a matter of days, weeks? Like what are the conditions? What are the terms?
That Tommy John surgery happens before opening day of next year.
Okay, well that's a little different story. Yeah, you know what? I will take the bet just because you're being a turd and I want to be able to lord it over you. But in all seriousness, beyond this bet, while the flexor tendon and the flexor mass absolutely does often correlate with there being UCL injuries, I would think that if there were a UCL injury, the Royals in their injury report would have said so. And a not insignificant percentage of time when guys have flexor injuries, they can rehab them and come back. But long term, does that tend to suggest that there might be some instability in the UCL? Yeah. The reason that the flexor mass, which is the muscles, the overlapping four muscles in your forearm, the reason that they tend to get hurt is because of some sort of hiccup in the kinetic chain where the flexor tendons, the flexor mass tends to take on the brunt of the force being generated and sent down through the arm. So, yeah, it shows that there is probably some elbow instability, but does it mean Tommy John? No, definitely not.
Okay. We'll see. But it's not good. Can we agree with that?
No, we can 100% agree. It's really not good. and it's just, I mean, it's the 2026 Royals, Seren. They, coming out in the first game of the second half and getting I'm sorry, not the first game.
The third game,
half, but the third game, and just getting absolutely the floor wiped with you. The first two wins were nice, but you can't take away that feeling of what happened Sunday.
The Friday win wasn't even nice. I mean, that was an exercise in frustration. If you look at the text chain of comments that were going on amongst my friends. So like that, they won, which I'll give it to them. They did take 2 out of 3, but I mean, I think the total run scored for the series is a more true indicator of where things are with this team. So, but I'm now at a point where there's a couple of things. One, we had the comments of J.J. Piccolo where he said, look, trading any starting pitching would be difficult because we're going to need it for 27, and that's something we got to go get. We got to go get whatever we need to get better, and we then have to go replace it. So it seems like they at that time anyway, they were focused on 27. But if Kolek does end up going under the Tommy John knife, which would basically eliminate, probably even next year as well, right? At least the bulk of it. You've already got Bergert out and down. You've got Cole Reagan's under the knife, and he's out now into next year. You don't control Chris Bubich, and he's hurt anyway. You're looking at a pitching staff of major league capable, and I just mean capable, not great, but of Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, Luinder Avila, and Noah Cameron, who's really struggling right now. And then no one else. I mean, they have been going bullpen day for a while now, like, frankly, for far too long. So what does this mean that the plan should be? Is it should they abandon 27 and just start looking for 28 and go ahead and ship out whatever they can and then piece together whatever kind of temporary rotation they can next year? Or is it a sign that they ought to be buying a starting pitcher to get through this year and be ready to go for next year instead of sell, buy?
Oh, God. Buy? No.
Okay. Well, that's what I think too. But, I mean, if you're talking about 27, when you say, well, hey, we can't move Wacha or Lugo, no one's taking Lugo, by the way, but we can't move Wacha right now because of 27. Well, then you're saying 27 is important. So then you're in on 27, right? You can't be not in on trading and not in on winning. Like, they have to go together. Like, it's got to be a complete plan.
Totally correct.
Okay.
And here's the problem with this is that the uncertainty of 2027 is going to factor, I think, very strongly into the Royals offseason and into their approach. Like, how aggressive are they going to be before the lockout? And if they are they going to be trying to lock in value, or are they going to believe that their payroll has to go up? And, let's just assume if we're in a capped world, I don't anticipate that that's going to be the case. But if we're in a capped world, the floor is likely to be in the 160 to 170 plus $1 million range, and that's above where the Royals are spending right now. If we're not in a floored world, if we're just in a similar system to what exists right now, how much are the Royals going to raise their payroll, and where is that money going to go? And here's the thing. I get the argument from the organization that Bobby Witt is in his prime right now. Jack Caglione looks like a real big leaguer, and a good one. Carter Jensen looks like a real big leaguer, and maybe not as good as Caglione, but still pretty good. Michael Garcia, you've still got under a reasonable and cheap contract. Vinny Pasquantino, you've still got. Like, the makings of the offense are there. But, man, you got a lot of work to do with your pitching if you want to be competitive in 2027. And not just the starters, Soren. You were just talking about, like, the part of the team that's actually better than the bullpen. The bullpen is an absolute nightmare right now. And so, if you have the skills and the ability to do what the Texas Rangers have seemingly done 3 straight years now, which is cobble together a good bullpen at a bargain basement rate, then hey, more power to you. This team could be competitive if it has that. But absent of that, and the Royals have shown no ability to do that in recent years, you can squint and see a playoff team maybe, but you got to squint pretty hard.
Well, yeah, what is the effect that the lockout is having right now? Like, what are teams looking at? Are they looking at it as it's a time not to spend because we may only be playing a sprint season, or we may not have any season? Are they looking at it as, no, this is a time to go spend because we might not have to pay all of what we're going out? Like, 1-year contracts are great because they might be less than what we're doing. Like, what is the mindset on how they're viewing it?
All of the above, I think. I think it just depends on the team, where they are in the standings, what their future looks like. I think you need to be nimble in a situation like this where there is so much uncertainty. And if you have hard and fast rules, you're going to be doing yourself a disservice because, in the universe of unlimited outcomes, which is precisely what you have when there is labor uncertainty right now, you have to understand that what doesn't make sense moving a guy like Michael Wacha in one scenario might make perfect sense in another scenario. So I think I get why the Royals have the tack that they do on Wacha and Lugo. I also think that holding on to them just because they're looking out for the 2027 roster would be doing a disservice to that 2027 roster.
To me, I see it as like if you're the Royals, you got to always be looking for the best way to accumulate assets, and that to me would be to punt on 27 and plan on 28, especially and to me, I could see the path when they had some of these guys healthy, but they literally have to do so much right now. Like I can't see how if they couldn't see how they could get there with moving Michael Wacha, how do they get there now that they've dropped 2 more pitchers?
Fair question. Reasonable question. I think the hard part, man, on punting 27 is that it's a Bobby Witt prime season. Like that's what all of this gets back to. Do you really want to go out there in a year that Bobby Witt is going to be, if not at his best, then near his best, and essentially waste it in pursuit of the future? It's a different calculus than other teams that are in similar positions the Royals have, because they don't have Bobby Witt Jr. They don't have one of the best players in the world. They don't have one of the best players in the world under a really reasonable contract. They don't have one of the best players in the world under a reasonable contract trying to get a new stadium built and moving into it. Like, there are all of these factors that are in play for the Royals that are not for other teams, and I think we need to take those into account when understanding the perspective that they're taking. But I just know that if holding on to Wacha and Lugo is a priority for them, it has to come with increased spending, because that's the only way they're going to be able to go out and get some of these guys. And I don't think, they were prepared to trade Kendrick Churio this year for Brendan Donovan. Thank God that didn't happen. Like that in hindsight would have been a disaster.
Oh, I heard that was the name that was asked for. I didn't hear that they were on the brink of doing it.
I mean, they would have. St. Louis wound up taking a deal from Seattle instead, and bullet dodge for the Royals there. But I do think that I mentioned this last week. Churio's got a chance to be there next year. Is it likely? Probably not. Do you want to put that kind of pressure on a teenager? Of course not. But he might just be that good.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like the St. Louis version of that. I didn't hear it being that close, but you're I'm sure more wired in than me. But I heard that those were the names that were being asked for, and it's like, okay, they wanted to make the deal with the Mets, the 3-way deal, and send players that direction. And when the Mets fell out of it because they made the move for was it Freddie Peralta? Then it was like, okay, it's just the two of us, the Royals and Cardinals, and the Cardinals like, well, this is the kind of talent we want. And the vibe I got was that they weren't like on the brink of doing that. It's like, okay, well, that do we want to do that? No. Did you? Why? So you're saying you think the Royals would have done that, and then the Mariners came in with something that the Cardinals like better, and that's why it didn't happen?
That is the impression that I got, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that would have been a problem.
To say the least. But this, you just can't have, we're going to hold on to everyone but Lane Thomas, and, maybe if someone wants to take a flyer on Chris Bubich and some other moves that they're going to make, you can't do that unless there is a commitment from ownership and give them the necessary money they need to make this a playoff team. Because right now, going into 2027 with the roster that the Royals have right now, it is not a playoff team.
No, I agree, and that's why I think, though, if you use 27 as just a bridge year to be back in 28, I think you could do it. But to your point, listen, if they're going to splash a bunch of money around, if ownership is willing to do that, okay. I mean, Jose Barrios, I don't know who you want to go get.
Not him.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking here at a whole big list of names, and I'm not even sure who's pitching that. If they're not on my fantasy team, I don't know how well they're pitching these days. But there's a whole
throw some out there for me. I'll tell you. See how
well, here by this is I've got it ranked just by the biggest contracts: Corbin Burns, Tarek Skubal, I know what he is. Sonny Gray, Michael King, Robbie Ray, Luis Severino, Zach Gallen, Brandon Woodruff, Shoto Imanaga, Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios, Chris Bassett. Tetsui Ime, Jack Flaherty, Jamison Tyon, Lance McCullers. He just got traded. Max Scherzer. I mean,
yeah, there's not a lot.
I don't know. There's if you'll go, like, do you believe in Zach Gallen?
On a 1-year bounce back, maybe, sure.
Yeah, but so that's my point, is that like on a Luis Severino, right? Or who's is the Mariners, the guy who's flopping with the Mariners, who was really good a couple of years ago?
Luis Castillo.
Luis Castillo. He's on my team. I should remember his name. I try not to, though. Luis Castillo, like, if taking a 1-year flyer on him in 27, that's my point about, like, focusing on 28. Just find the stop gaps for 27. 1 year, 10 million, 1 year, 7 million, 1 year, 12 million, whatever it takes, and get through it. And then if you can find the one guy that's the stud, but explain to Bobby, here's our plan, this is what we're doing, and then saying in 28 we should have Churio, and later that year we should have Shields, and we'll supplement that. But that's the problem with, like, we're all in for 27, because all you've got is Walker for 27 and a club option for 28, which if he's pitching like he is this year, you'll take. So you've got him for 2, but then he's done, and you don't want to be signing him at 37 years old.
Nope.
You're not the kind of team that can do that. Some big market team could say, okay, he's our 5th starter. Not necessarily they'd be 5th in the pecking order, but that's the guy we need to start. So we'll give him 1 for $22 million, and if it falls apart, fine. Or we give him 2 for $40 million, knowing that the second year is probably trash, fine. But those aren't the kind of deals the Royals can be making. It is, in fact, the deal that they ended up signing with Seth Lugo, and that's killing them.
Yeah, it is. And let's remember, the Royals did this really well before the 2024 season. So they have shown the capability to go out there and win in free agency and turn a 56-win club into an 86-win playoff team. So, there's history there.
And
can we do it again?
Aren't they in a much, much, much better position, even if they lose, let's say they lose 106 games again. So the record is exactly the same. But now they've got Bobby Witt Jr. with a second-place MVP season, and he's going to be 3rd or 4th. He's going to be like the 3rd time in the top 5. They've got Jack Caglione. They've got Carter Jensen. They've got Maikel Garcia when he comes back, although he's been a Titanic disappointment as well. But you've got some things to, like, you've got a lot more to show a free agent than you had when you were able to get Lugo and Waka.
No doubt. Very true.
So you should head out with your head held high and be like, okay, we can do this. I mean, you should be empowered to do it.
I suppose so. But at the end of the day, Saran, it's not about playing with Bobby Witt Jr. It's about who's going to pay me the most.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to do that.
Agreed. But, if it comes down to ties, okay, we're both in the same. We've heard that, before. Like, everybody, like, I remember when Gil Mesh was signed, everybody was 4 for 40, and the Royals had to go 5 for 55 to get him. I just don't think in that scenario they have to go 5 for 55 anymore. 4 for 40 or 4 for 44, we get them.
Saran, if they're coming off a 100-loss season, they're going to have to go 5 for 55. In that
really? That, like, all the positives that are there in place don't give you a much better sales pitch that we're going to win?
No, I think you look at the team that exists right now, and the fact that they're on pace to lose 100 games at this point would suggest that maybe not all is well.
You come up with that one all by yourself?
I mean, listen, they don't pay me the big bucks for no reason.
Great cash, homie.
Yeah, there it is. We're talking to Jeff Passan here, our Major League Baseball insider. So, in the end, what do you think they're going to do?
I think they hold him. I think Lane Thomas goes. I don't think anyone would even take Matt Strahm at this point. Like, that's another disaster that's happened this year.
All right, because Jonathan Bullen looks really good for the Phillies.
Well, I get it, but Matt Strahm's costing what, $8 million this year?
Yeah, and he's not good, and Bullen has been good.
It's it is suboptimal as one might say.
Yeah.
And can they get something for John Schreiber? Maybe. Can they get something for Alex Lang? Maybe. Did they consider moving Daniel Lynch? Maybe they should. But beyond that, yeah, it's just not a lot of inventory, man.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. If there's a pitcher you can get that you can control for 2 or 3 years, if you're serious about competing while you have Bobby Wood Jr., then that's what they should be doing.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. All right, let's by the way, do you enjoy it as much as I do when the position players pitch?
You like that?
I love it. I am glued. I am locked in. I love seeing what it looks like when big leaguers hit just absolute cookies. I mean, and I love it when a big leaguer grounds one to third off of it. It honestly is some of my favorite stuff.
Do you like it because you feel like you might have a chance?
Yes, that's part of it. But I just, it's just not what we normally see. It's such a sideshow. Like, do you slow down for a car crash? Yes, everybody does. Like, ooh, what's going on over there?
Car crash because you don't want to run over any pieces or parts that might have flown off during the car crash,
no.
right?
Most fools want to look over and see what's going on. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle's the type that'll be like, "Hey, can you bring the bodies a little closer?"
I don't know how many uglier things you can say about somebody than that. Show me bodies.
he wants he can't see from. They got him going a couple lanes over, and he wants to get a better look. You know what I mean?
No, I don't. But that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you have it. So yeah, I do. When Tyler Tolbert pitches, I'm all in. First of all, he's rapidly rising up the game appearance list.
He's got 5 already.
He's got 5.
He's tied Bailey Falter.
Yeah. And he's been about as effective as Bailey Falter.
I look at it like if a position player's been in 5 games this year, chances are you stink.
Well, again, all by yourself? Came up with that one?
No, that's not necessarily true because there are some situations like the Dodgers have guys who have been position players. Miguel Rojas has, I think, multiple appearances this year, and they're quite good. But it's on the winning side that they tend to put him in.
I am a little bit
up by a dozen runs.
I think in the Tyler Tolbert case, it's not that they think he's going to be the most effective or the most efficient. I think it's just a clear statement. You're last, kid.
Yes.
Because he's not good at it.
The utter disrespect shown to the man who had 12 hits and 12 at bats.
I know.
Incredible.
I know. Isn't it one of them? I mean, this is such a Royals-like season. This kid has 12 hits and 12 at bats, but he may end up having 12 appearances on the mound as well.
I will take the under on that.
Don't you love? Did you watch any of it? Have you watched him pitch at all?
No, I've not seen.
Oh my God, I adore. He leans in with the arm hanging. He's even got a whole routine, like he's been watching pitchers, and he's got the guys he likes, and he bends way down and leans in for the sign and everything. I'm like, what sign are we giving? You're throwing a cookie. Like, come on. Like all that is. It's like, the bodies have been brought close. Here it is. Yeah, Tyler Tolbert's looking in for a sign. They've moved the body right next to the road.
I'm glad you like it. To me, it's just like the epitome of anti-competitiveness.
Well, would you rather him just like have the gong rule on softball? Okay, 10 after 3, 50, or what is it? 15 after 3, 10 after 5.
Yeah.
Something like that?
No, I do not think a mercy rule in a professional sports game is reasonable.
I don't either. So bring on Tyler Tolbert.
Why don't you just go with a freaking pitcher, Seren?
Because they're too valuable. These Royals pitchers are too valuable. You can't be wearing them down in a game that's clearly lost. What I think Tyler Tolbert needs is some walkout music, too.
Maybe a light show with the fans.
Yeah, I want Thunderstruck or,
At the risk of being labeled Captain Obvious for a third time, Seren, the fact that you are now taking joy in one thing this Royal season, and that's a position player pitching, is one of the greatest indictments on just how bad this team is that I've seen.
Well, I'm having more fun with it than I probably should right now, but I do genuinely like, okay, let's watch this. Let's like, don't you like watching the guys turn and see, like, first of all, I felt like somebody should be like, Jack Caglione, right there. That's how you do it. Right there. Turn and lift.
I'll say this. I like when position players come in and throw cheddar. Like when Cliff Pennington came in for the Diamondbacks a few years ago and was sitting 90, I was like, all right, I can get on board with this.
Or Jose Canseco coming in there pumping fastballs and then going under the knife for Tommy John.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see Caglione pitch once.
That's
what I really want to see. I know it'll never happen because he is too valuable, and heaven forbid something happens, he gets too ramped up and excited, and blows his elbow out, and it would be the dumbest thing imaginable. But I just kind of want to see what it looks like.
I do too.
I want to see what the two-way player would have been.
I do too. I'd like to see it as well. I'm with you. We're talking to Passan here in the program. Red Sox have won 13 in a row. Where did this come from? What's going on here?
It's always been there with the starting pitching. Like their pitching's been good for most of the season. Sonny Gray 12-1 with a ERA below 2.5. Jake Bennett, a rookie this year, has been excellent. Ranger Suarez, I know, is on the injured list right now, but he's had a solid season. Like the Red Sox have always been able to pitch, and they in this stretch they've won one-run games, which they had not done much this year, and they've hit a little bit, and they've hit some home runs, and they're getting contributions in weird places beyond Wilson Contreras. They're getting stuff from Andrew Monasterio, who came over along with Caleb Durbin, and a deal for Kyle Harrison that for a long time looked really, really bad because Harrison was pitching quite well, but he's hurt now. Durbin, since I think in his last 43 games, I checked this earlier today, is OPSing over 850. So shout out to the short king from Wash U, D3 baseball represent. And Boston, I don't know how real they are, Seren, but that doesn't matter. You know why it doesn't matter?
Why?
Because they're in the American League. And that, to me, that is above everything else that has happened this season, the most frustrating part of 2026 for the Kansas City Royals. You will never have a year again, and I'm confident in saying this. You will not have a year like this in the next 20 years where the league is so completely wide open and capable of winning. And, the Royals founded that opportunity.
Oh, they did. I mean, the Red Sox came to town and they were like a game back of the Royals, I want to say.
Yes. They were the worst team in the American League. And then 2 weeks later, they're in the playoffs. Literally.
Yeah. I mean, 13 straight will do that for you. They're now 2 above 500.
Yep.
So it's amazing. How close are we to seeing Shohei Ohtani just told you're not pitching anymore?
Not close. Shohei will stop pitching when Shohei wants to stop pitching. I think that's one thing that by now we should understand about the Shohei Ohtani experience. It's like what was the Tom Hanks movie where the pirates took over a ship and one of them is like, I am now in charge. That's how Shohei Ohtani dictates his career. He is in charge. If he wants to pitch, what are the Dodgers going to do? Say no? No, of course not. He's the best player ever. He gets to do whatever he wants. So when he's done pitching, it will be when he says he's done pitching.
Look at me, Jeff. Look at me.
Yep.
I'm the captain now.
Thank you.
Captain Phillips.
That.
Captain Phillips.
Captain Phillips. Yeah, there you go.
That was the name of the movie.
Seren Petro, everyone. The man who can tell me that I'm an idiot and quote movies in the same segment.
Well, I actually needed Kyle to tell me the name of the movie in my ear, so that's all Kyle.
I appreciate the transparency. Thank you. You did not have to do that. You could have just taken the victory and walked around and waved to the crowd and kissed babies. But no, you were an honest man.
Yeah.
And it is your honesty that gives you such bad opinions.
Yeah. Final Four time with Jeff Passan here. So, Jeff, how many more starts for Ohtani this year? He's made 14. What's the total when it's all said and done?
I'm in a fantasy league where you have to play in September in order for your statistics for the rest of the year to count toward the simulation in the playoffs. If that sounded complicated, it is.
Is it a retro sheet league or something?
Yes, score sheet.
Oh, score sheet. Okay.
Yeah, that is good ball knowledge by you, Seren.
Thank you.
Recommend it to anyone.
And I did that one all on my own. Kyle said nothing to me.
I hope not, because the fewer people who know about this means the nerdier I am, and I send on that scale. So because I need Ohtani back in September, I'm going to say he makes 5 more starts.
Okay. So 19 total I'll put you down for. All right. What is the Red Sox record when the season is over?
84-78.
What is the Royals record, by contrast? They're on pace right now for 65 wins.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 62-100.
62-100. And finally, what will the record be of the third wild card in the AL? Right now, it's the Red Sox.
You know what? I'm gonna stick with 84. I think it's gonna be Boston. I'm gonna stick with 84-78.
84-78. There it is. He's on the record. Go ahead and book it. We got that bet. What is the bet, by the way?
I don't know. You name the terms.
How
you
about
came up with this garbage in the first place?
How about we take the misses plural for dinner, and the loser has to pay.
Sounds good to me.
All right, there it is. Jeff is on the record. By the way, sorry, I started to put you on hold beforehand. Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it.
See you, brother.
The program with Seren Petro.
I don't got a lot of time to scour the defensive metrics, especially when I'm trying to catch up with Ted Lasso.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Kansas City's #1 selling RV dealership is Unlimited RV. You heard all the guys on the 2-minute drill talking about it earlier. Josh, the general manager, his team is absolutely fantastic. Go see Josh. Bill in sales, Nate, the finance manager, Nick, the service director. They are an unbeatable team. Unlimited RV, the #1 selling RV dealership in Kansas City. In fact, they're a top 50 RV dealer in the entire country 3 years in a row. This is based upon customer service scores, not just sales volume, customer service scores. And they've got those as well. Try a 4.7-star Google rating with over 900 reviews. Why? Great customer service, great products coming together under one roof. Really, 2 roofs. They have 2 locations. In KC, it's in Independence, 4400 North Cobbler Road. And down at the Ozarks, it's 12 Hauser Road. Find them online at unlimitedrv.com. You can find the address and everything you need to know right there. They are the folks that offer a lifetime warranty on all new campers and a lifetime warranty on used campers that are 2 years old or newer. Find somebody else who does that, right? Master certified technicians. You got anything you need fixed? They're happy to do it for you. All right? So with fully transparent pricing, they are absolutely the place to go if you're in the market for a camper. If you're looking to get out on the road, if you're looking to get that vacation going, get to Unlimited RV, where every new camper comes with a lifetime warranty and with a 4.7-star Google rating. There's no way that you will not have a satisfied experience at Unlimited RV. Find your next RV today at unlimitedrv.com.
Men, if your energy is down, your workouts aren't producing results, you're gaining stubborn weight, losing muscle, sleeping poorly, or just not feeling like yourself anymore, it may be more than just aging. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. Our low T and body composition treatments are designed to help men regain energy, improve focus, sleep better, build lean muscle, reduce unwanted fat, and restore confidence both in and out of the gym. At Heartland Men's Health, we specialize in helping men optimize their health, performance, and vitality. Using personalized medical treatments tailored to your health and goals, many men begin noticing improvements in energy, mental clarity, recovery, motivation, libido, and overall body composition within just a few weeks. Your initial visit is just $99.
Thanks to Jeff Passan as we roll on here in the fourth quarter of the program. Petro, Collier, no Siebold, down a man. The big guy off for the week, getting a well-earned vacation for Curtis Siebold. As I understand it, he was on a plane Friday for, was it Tibet? Can't remember where it was. That or it was headed to his couch. I don't want to get confused on that. I don't want to say too much.
I wonder if he showed up like 3 hours early. Again.
Maybe. Could be. Let's hear from Eli Drinkwitz. He was at the podium. SEC Media Days were today. Let's start with the latest on Ahmad Hardy. Eli Drinkwitz gave the update on a star running back who's, of course, recovering from the gunshot wound.
This was a great opportunity for Ahmad to learn, and it was a great opportunity for our student athletes to learn. And it was also a great reminder that there is no place for gun violence in this world, and that we need to do a better job of policing gun violence, not criticizing the police or the rights to bear arms, which is a Second Amendment right, but just saying that there is no place for gun violence, especially for our youth in society. Ahmad has been medically cleared from the bullet that struck him, and he is on the road to recovery. He did have the bullet did strike a bone in his body, and that has been fully healed and cleared. And today was his first day back towards a full recovery. We anticipate that he will make a recovery. What that recovery will look like after having a bullet strike you is still to be determined. We do not know exactly what the return to play progression is because there's not a lot of literature and data on this, but we are utilizing our medical team along with our athletic performance team and nutrition to approach this at a very good pace. We do anticipate that this return to play protocol could take anywhere between 5 to 8 weeks, and at the end of the 8 weeks, we still don't know what his recovery will be from is he the same Ahmad Hardy that was last year. My anticipation and what I've seen, the way he's attacked his rehab, he's going to be a better Ahmad Hardy than when he was before.
5 to 8 weeks would put us, their opener is September 3rd. KU is September 11th. We are, let's see, 1 week, 2 week, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 weeks would be August 24th. 8 weeks would be September 14th. So if that's the process, then it looks like he should be around for the Kansas game. Right? Sounds like we're getting a schedule that runs right up to when they basically need him, is what I'm hearing there. Big questions for Mizzou when it comes to the quarterback position. Drinkwitz said he likes his quarterback room, including Austin Simmons, who transferred in from Ole Miss.
Austin has been a tremendous addition to our football team. I love the way he's gone about his business, embracing his role as a leader of our team and a quarterback. I think his combination of Garrett Riley and Chip Lindsey are really going to be good. I also want to take a moment to mention Matt Zollers. Matt Zollers, the day and age in college football, when it's easier to leave than stay, chose to stay. When it's easier to pout than to buck up, he's done that. He is bucked up, and he's been a tremendous leader for our football team. He has challenged Austin every single day to be at his best, and I look forward to the growth of Matt Zollers, and he is a quarterback that can play at a really high level, and I can't wait to continue to watch him grow and develop, and I look forward to that room.
Okay. So he likes that room. He looks forward to it, at least, whatever that is worth. More on Austin Simmons. Drinkwitz says Simmons came to Mizzou with a reputation of being a very smart quarterback.
I am not for giving the committee more opportunities to put teams in the playoffs. As nice as I can be about it, committees are a bad idea in deciding on who should get in. I think he does have a photographic memory, which is usually a high sense of intelligence. I think part of that intelligence gets him in trouble a little bit because he thinks he can, he's met his match as far as an intelligence. And so, there's some things that he can't get away with that maybe he got away with before. But I think that's good. They're challenging each other is a way to grow. And so I'm very excited. I think the best thing about Austin is his communication skills. he can communicate at a high level about what he's seeing, what he understands, how routes are similar to what he's done in the past that he really liked. And that's accelerated the growth between Coach Lindsey, Coach Riley, and what we're doing.
We heard a little bit of the wrong cut there first, just if you're like, what the hell happened? He started talking about this one. This is where you're going to hear Drinkwitz trying to clarify his idea of an expanded college football playoff.
I am not for giving the committee more opportunities to put teams in the playoffs. As nice as I can be about it, committees are a bad idea in deciding on who should get in sports arenas. Sports are meant to be played and decided on the field. My idea last year, or suggestion last year, was about play-in opportunities, and I think each conference should have play-in games that create the opportunity to get into the playoffs. That's how I see it. I think it would create more excitement, avenues for your fans to be excited. I think if the top 8 teams in your conference had an opportunity to play in the playoffs, that gives you a measuring stick for each fan base that makes sense. I think this elimination of conference championship games, while I understand it as a opportunity to help you win the national championship, doesn't make sense because it puts too much emphasis on a singular outcome. And we can talk all we want about the process, but don't focus on the outcome. And then everything we're doing in college football is about the outcome, one single champion. And again, that doesn't make sense to me. So again, conference championships are important, need to be preserved. They're highly entertaining. They're highly valuable from a monetary standpoint. They're highly valuable from a fan engagement standpoint. So throwing those away so you can get a bad matchup between 24 and 18 doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I'm with them on the conference championship. I mean, I think it's something that, there should be more than one trophy at the end of seasons, and having it. That's why you have conferences, that be the conference champion. You have a group of schools that you work together with and compete against, and somebody should be named the champion. And it gives you a chance to have a successful season without it all just being everybody's season was a failure except for one team. So I definitely do agree with them on the conference championship game and having a conference champion. I think it's an important part. They are playing KU this year. They play at KU this year. They've got another home-and-home set for 2031 and 2032. Drinkwitz was asked if he'd like to make KU a permanent rivalry.
Scheduling is such a unique challenge and deal. I mean, the games in 2030 were scheduled before I even got to Mizzou, so there's not really a way to get out of them. I know we're playing the Illinois game next year, so that's a regional rivalry. It takes two to tango. We want to play the game. They got to want to play the game too. I think they do want to. It's just a matter of making it work for both sides. I think there was maybe a window and maybe a 28 or 29, but it just didn't work out. So we'll renew the game as quickly as we can. I know it's good for us. It's good for college football.
And I hope that's the case because I think it is good for college football, and I think it's good for Missouri athletics. I would play both of them. I understand it's a tough schedule. I get it. But in reality, Missouri needs good games on their schedule more than they need to try to create some yellow brick road, sorry to borrow a Kansas phrase to illustrate this point, but to try to create some yellow brick road that magically takes them around any kind of challenge and into a potential SEC championship game. The reality is the way these leagues are set up right now with the coaches that are in place and the way the SEC seems willing to spend on whatever it takes with the top coaches, you're probably never going to play for an SEC championship game. If you do, it's going to be so seldom. Better off to have two good rivalry games in it to help your season ticket package and have good games for the fans to go see and good games for the fans to go travel to and see. I think that's a better point for them. All right, we'll take a break, come back, wrap things up with the kicker. A little AI and Nick Sirianni.
But first, our La Feta Delicatessen end of the hour answer. Since 2015, how many teams have more playoff wins in Dallas than the Dallas Cowboys?
Oklahoma. Right? Isn't one of those that Oklahoma's got more?
This was more professional teams.
I know.
I'm sure Oklahoma would count.
Oklahoma does
Yeah.
with Big 12 championships and like bowl games, playoffs, and all that. How many more playoff wins? So basically in Dallas. So it's how many teams have beaten them, basically, I guess. I'll say 2.
There it is 2. One is the Green Bay Packers, and 2 is actually the Spaniards, the national team. They won 2 knockout games in Dallas.
I love that. Spain. Well done. They're better than the Dallas Cowboys in their own building. That's fantastic. Like, don't the Chiefs? Doesn't Andy Reid still have more wins in the Vegas stadium than any Raiders coach? Like, that's fantastic. Leave you with this. By the way, La Feta Italian Delicatessen. You can get that on the southeast corner of 143rd and Metcalf. Wonderful, wonderful sandwiches. Their rockin' lineup. You can find it at lafetadeli.com. AI. Guess who found AI? Nick Sirianni. What do you think he's using it for?
Telling stories?
Yeah. Like, not like, oh, how do I organize this better? Or can you take all these play cards and organize them into a thing? No. Find me true sports, motivational sports stories. And then he tells them to his team for motivation.
So in 6 years, he's run out.
He's out. And in the story I read, they pointed out that, there's only 7 guys left from the original team that he took over, even though he's made the playoffs every year since he's been there. That's just the normal attrition. We talk about it all the time with the Chiefs. So they're like, pretty soon he can start recycling all his stories. But now he's got fresh stories to tell because